first topic I want to talk about really quick before we get into some other things is that I don't like bitch ass niggas. And the reason why I want to start off with that is because
game is about helping us learn the rules of manhood. And a lot of times what happens is we don't fully believe in the rules. We don't fully believe in the information.
You cannot fear rejection.
We got to stand on business out there, meaning that the bitches ain't gonna even fuck with me if they don't think that I'm willing to go the distance behind some shit.
Everybody in this room, if you had a bitch ass moment, raise your hand.
When I say I am, I want you to say a motherfucking man. I am a motherfucking man.
Like I said, y'all should have bitches. I'm amazed. It's a struggle for some of y'all.
Once you find something that you're into, it comes before everything else. And then even when you deal with a woman who's into you, she has to compete with that thing, whatever the fuck that is, right?
Stand up if you believe in fear. Stand up right now. Everybody stand the fuck up.
You know, I say bitch a lot and nigga a lot, but you know, it's with good intention and a lot of love in it and whatnot.
If I'm feeling insecure, is this really me or did somebody teach me how to feel this way?
I am a motherfucking man.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, hold on real quick. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Real quick, let me plug the drink. And have seen various Facebook posts, maybe even IG joints, where a lot of times being a real man is always correlated or associated with something that man is doing where women are the benefactors, right? Now, being a quote unquote real man, if you are a thorough man, a real dude, a solid dude, women will benefit from dealing with you because you're already that thing. With or without women, you're that guy. You're that thorough guy. You're that solid guy. You're that man with honor, with integrity, with dignity. You have standards. You have principles by which you operate by. You're that guy with or without women. And women benefit from that. So real quick before we get into this, while we wait for the other gentlemen to come into the fray. Right, here we go. So let me just say what's up real quick. Uncle Guns, Renee P, BD, AJ Leno, and Renee, as usual, I appreciate you, baby girl. Dan Frank, Jay, June Sports. Who else we got? Willie, Berry Hill, Kahori, Data, Dukalux, Unique 79. Who else we got? Hey, if I missed you, my bad. Miles, J. Roman. Y'all want to plug anything before we get knee deep into this shit? Mr. Truth was good.
Get that soap, guys. Get that soap. Wait, did it zoom in yet? Come on, hold on. All right, here we go. Hit that QR code, man. What's going on with y'all on the panel? What's up, J. Roman? What's up, K-Zag? What's up, everybody in the chat, man? What's up, man?
Yeah, let's plug this show and get the likes up. K-Zag, one of the most consistent dudes I know when it comes to this. Let's plug the show, get the subscribes, get the likes up, and go from there. Everybody can hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, cool.
Yeah, we good. All right, I'm prepared to jump to the phone. I just wanted to start this off because I actually want to show a video. So let me just get to that right quick. I just want to show a real quick video. Let me find that joint.
Hey, while you getting that ready, it's a beautiful day today.
Fall apart.
Oh, yes. The weather's been great.
Yeah. Nice weather. I hope y'all been catching some vitamin D, getting that sun.
Raining out here. It's raining out here.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, K-Zag. That's messed up.
So let me. Yeah, it is messed up. It is. It's all good. I washed my car 2 days ago too. I hit it with
Ain't
the
that
tire
some
shine on the
It
tires. All that
always
shit's
happens
fucked
like
up.
that.
Nigga, if I want it to rain, all I got to do is wash my car, my nigga. It's the worst. Man, I can't stand that shit. But I do love the rain, though. But I can't stand getting my car washed and then.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled. And plus, I'm going out of town tomorrow to this place where they got cabanas and canoes, and I hope it ain't raining there. Mr. Justin,
Hey,
I got you.
beat
Just give me just a
something down
moment.
in the rain. To beat something down in
Let
the
me,
rain.
let me do this clip before my internet starts bugging. Let me knock this shit out right quick.
Yeah.
Hold on, okay. Let me do this right quick. It's gonna be real quick. 19 seconds.
Suck it up, Buttercup. I've got that at the bottom of one of my prayer lists. I know you're supposed to have feelings. You can have those after you get your work done. I know that's old school. I know
Pop, lock, and drop.
you that'll send you straight to your therapist, but that's okay. Strength comes not.
Oh man,
Hold
you
on
got.
real quick. Let me take that off the screen.
You might as well send me that shit,
Okay.
bro. You might as well send me that shit. Jeez. Zach, you might as well send that to me, bro. And let me do it.
All right, I got you. Can y'all hear me?
Is that what platform was that on? Is that on YouTube?
It's on Facebook, but I'll send it to you. I'll send it to Facebook Messenger. You want a Facebook Messenger or you want to
Okay. No. That's cool. I got you.
Need some lotion, Zach. That finger look kind of ashy.
Nigga, why the hell you studying my fingertips? Nigga, what's up with you?
It was all in our face, man. The finger was all in the face.
No.
All right.
Wait, did you send it? I can't see it.
I'm about to send it right now. My bad. I had to jump to the phone right quick. I had to get to the phone. Let me do this.
Man, you ain't calling people yet, man.
Yeah. They come in Tuesday morning.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah. So this is just I just got to
let's get to the
grin and
real.
bear it for a little while longer. Hold on, let me send this to my boy right quick. Where that joint at? Y'all feel free to chop it up, man. While I get this sent to you.
Well, we didn't hear what he said. We don't know what he said, bro.
You don't know what he said?
That's what I'm saying. We didn't hear a word. Like, I mean, we heard words, but it was like.
Okay, all right, hold on. Let me get it to you right now.
I was thinking about the rain. I ain't gonna lie. I realized I have beat outside in every season there was.
Yeah.
You know, in the fog, in the rain. You know, I was on this hill off the side of the highway.
I've done mostly summer. Some in the rain.
Yeah.
Wintertime because I spend a lot of my life in New York, and
it gets cold.
I don't want my dick to freeze in the middle of the.
It doesn't freeze in the warmth.
It doesn't freeze.
You don't want shrinkage. I don't want shrinkage in this motherfucker. Hey, Miles, check your phone. I sent it to your text message, but I'll send it to IG and all that shit as well, bro.
I thought you said you was gonna send it to
I'm gonna send it to all of that. I'm gonna send it to. I just want to make sure you get it. I'm gonna send it to multiple places. Where your shit is at.
Send it to Facebook Messenger. I thought.
Send it to that right now.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys pay bills, and the only reason it's on my mind because the way I pay my bills is excellent. You know, and the way I make my payments to things is so excellent. I'm gonna tell y'all real quick. So anybody listening, any youngsters listening, if you divide, no, actually I ain't gonna go on that. I'm not even gonna go there right now.
All right, there we go, Miles. I just sent it just now to the Facebook joint. So if you didn't get it, then I'll try to send it to another spot.
I don't know why I'm not.
All right. And if you want to add it, if you want to share it on your end, I'll bring it in so people can get the clip.
On my prayer list.
All right, hold on.
You got it. Cool. I can hear it. All right. So real quick. So let me let's get this show going. Being a real man has nothing to do with women. What I want guys to understand is this. Before you can be real with anybody, you first must be real with yourself. Okay, this is why the thumbnail is of the guy removing the mask. Far too often, when guys are dealing with women, they are introducing women to their representative. Okay, you are introducing women to the side of you, imagine or not, okay, a facade or not, okay, you are introducing women to a side of you that you think they'll be more comfortable with, that you think this will be the side that she will like. This will be the side that will ultimately win her over.
Right.
And one of the reasons why women have issues with finding consistency within men is for that very reason. Because the guy that you ultimately introduce us to is not the guy that she ultimately gets in the end. Okay, let me add this, then we'll go ahead and go from there.
Okay, good. All right, so all right, let me go back and play. All right, so y'all ready? We're gonna play it.
Let's do it.
One on my prayer list. I know you're supposed to have feelings.
Hold on, let me pull it back. Hold on. All right, are y'all hearing it clearly and stuff? Is it good?
Yep, I heard
Suck it up, Buttercup. I've got that at the bottom of one of my prayer lists. I know you're supposed to have feelings. You can have those after you get your work done. I know that's old school. I know some of you that'll send you straight to your therapist, but that's okay. Strength comes from stress, not from being comfortable. You atrophy from being comfortable. You only strengthen from leaning in. Suck it up, Buttercup.
You only strengthen from leaning in.
He said, so the reason why that clip
He got me pumped.
resonated with me is because manhood, masculinity.
Right.
You're not supposed to be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You're not. And far too many men, they are looking for situations where they can kick their feet up, where they can be comfortable. This is why when guys say, oh, if a woman grew up with both her parents, she probably was taught right. Oh, a woman should already know how to conduct herself. And they ask women like, what do you bring to the table? See, they expect women to hit the ground running. No, part of being a man and actually being a leader is leading. Okay, it's showing the woman what you need, require, and desire for her to actually be in your life and add value to it. And in doing so, you actually have to guide women. You actually have to provide instructions. A lot of guys, they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that because they feel like, man, I should just chill. I should just be chilling with my feet kicked up. A woman should show up and everything should be easy.
Right.
No, sometimes you actually have to put in some work. Now, the work begins within. The work begins with you checking in with yourself. The work begins with you looking in the mirror and asking yourself this important question. Who am I? Shout out to Miles Cunningham, masculineidentitymembership.com. Who am I? What is my identity? What do I want? Not only for myself, but just out of life. What do I want? What type of experiences do I want? And the experiences may not even have anything to do with women.
Right.
Okay, because you're going to have other relationships with people outside of the romantic and sexual encounters you're going to have with women. Okay, you might have co-workers, you might have business partners, you might have homies that you kick it with, right? Friends. What kind of experiences do I want? What type of relationships do I want? So ultimately, the type of man that you are, or at least the type of man that people perceive you to be, right, is an indictment on how people actually view you and how they actually show up to deal with you because of how you show up to deal with them. I got something I want to add to that shit I've been talking for.
Yeah, I'll just say this because I gotta leave in a minute, man. I do apologize, but I got some things to handle. But I'll say this, man. You know, a lot of guys, and shout out to Dave G for the $5 super chat. He said, Jay Roman out here looking like a retired police officer. Shout out to that.
Man, that's hilarious that he would say that too.
Yo, 5-0. Anyway, yeah, see, a lot of guys want shit to change, right? A lot of guys want shit to change in their life. A lot of guys want shit to get better, but it's crazy because they don't want to get out of the comfort zone, right? They want to be comfortable all the time. And as people, we don't understand that if you want to improve, if you want things to change, if you want things to get better, you're going to have to get outside of your comfort zone. You're going to have to work a little harder. You're going to have to put in some grueling pain. You're going to have to make some sacrifices. You're going to have to do some things that you're not used to doing, which is why they call it getting out of your comfort zone. Because here's the thing with your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is going to keep you where you are. Your comfort zone is where you are now. That's literally your comfort zone. So it's like, well, I don't want to do all that. Like, we try to tell these dudes, like, if you want to get better at dealing with women, you got to deal with more women, and it's like, man, why do I have to do that? But it's the funny part is, if you tell them, hey, man, if you want to get better at playing video games, you got to play more video games. If you want to get better at, drawing anime, you gotta spend time drawing and practicing your art. If you want to get better at boxing or MMA, you got to spend time training MMA. But all these niggas want to get good at dealing with women, but nobody want to go out and talk to women. You see what I'm saying? So again, your comfort zone is what keeps you where you are. The fact that you're comfortable is what's gonna keep you in stagnation and in a static position. So if we want things to change, if we want things to get better, we have to be willing to get outside of our comfort zone. We have to sacrifice, and we have to do things that are uncomfortable that will bring us the change that we claim that we want. Because that's one more thing. Like you say that you want these things. You say that you claim that you want success. You say that you want to change, and you say that these things that you want. But when motherfuckers find out what is involved in the change that they claim that they want, is like, then they got to really check in with themselves. Like, shit, do I really want it anymore? Jay Roman.
Jay Roman, go ahead, fam.
Okay, I was just giving you a minute, Zach, just in case you wanted to say something.
No, you got it. Mr. Justin, I got you. I'm going to send you the joint, fam.
No, man, I agree with both of you guys wholeheartedly there. I think that it's easier to point fingers at everybody else as if they fixed anything, that they would be the solution. But really, to do work for yourself. And I think that's what's entitled with this title here. Being a real man has nothing to do with women. If you really work on self and be disciplined with self, the rest of it kind of starts to fall into order, right? The rest of the things fall into order. Let's just take, for example, a guy working a job, if he's disciplined at getting up, being on time, he puts hard work in his job, not for his job, but just for his own self-pride, and doing those things. When it comes to other things in his life, he's going to start to display just as much discipline when it comes to it. It's easier to stick to things that you said you were going to do if you discipline yourself. And I think that's one of the harder things for people to do, because they take the easy way out. I never do New Year's Eve resolutions. Either I'm going to do something or not, and that's just how it goes. I don't wait till a countdown date of when to start something. If you think about it, say, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna cut that off tomorrow. I'm a cold turkey guy. Hey, boom, I'll do that. So really, for most men, I think this is where a lot of the issue kind of resides at, because to be disciplined, you have to be consistent with that. And then when you entangle a woman in that, and in the beginning you were doing certain things, but now you are not consistent, then you turn around and blame her for her ways, when in actuality, you've changed a lot of things that you've done. But it's easier to look at the things you can point at her instead of yourself, to say, you know what, I can see where I fell short. Let me correct me before I can come back with you.
Exactly.
That's what's up. Real quick, I want to show something, because and Miles, I believe you and Lucario get this question a lot, guys, and I get this during consultations especially. Guys are always talking about, what are standards? What do you guys mean by principles and all that other shit? And part of being a solid man, a thorough man, right? The type of man that people actually respect, and in many cases that women come to admire, is the fact that you have standards, is the fact that you have principles, and they see that, and they see that you actually live your life with meaning to it, right? That shit actually matters to you, right? That you're actually passionate about things, and that you actually stand on things. You're not one of these guys where you just accept whatever you can get your hands on, and you just allow things to happen in your life. You actually go out there and you make things happen, and people see how you're moving, and women want to be a part of that when they see that. They actually want to be a part of that, right? And this is when I talk about women admiring you. Part of that is they see things in you where they can actually feel like I can learn from him. Okay, there are things that he possessed where I can actually learn from him, and I can see how that can be beneficial to my life. Even if him and I don't work out, I can see how later on, learning that from him, watching him, seeing how he moves, how I can use that for years to come. If I got kids, I can teach my kids that. Okay, or I can relay that information on to other people, and they could benefit from that, all from this man I met. Right? So let me do this. Let me just do this right here. Okay. Having standards and principles is essential to masculine leadership. Period. Show me a man who does not have standards and principles. I'm gonna show you a man who has lackluster leadership skills. I'm gonna show you a man who is indecisive. I'm gonna show you a man who is inconsistent. I'm gonna show you a man who lacks the ability to influence women, but rather he is influenced by women, which is why the most of the decisions he makes in his life is based off of trying to get women and or retain women. Okay, let me hit y'all with this real quick. Okay, what do you mean standard? Something set or established by an authority as a rule for measure of quantity, weight, extent, value, or quality. Now, when we talk about authority, I want to point this out. If you have the authority to do something, you have the right or power to do it. Part of having standards is you actually setting forth something. And then you abide by it. You adhere to it. You live your life by it. And then any woman that comes into your life, she must also adhere to that same standard you already set forth. You are the sole authority in your life as a man.
Right.
Not society, not your parents, not women, not your friends, you. Right? So number two, when we talk about standards, okay, hold on real quick. Standard applies to any definite rule. Definite. I want y'all to think about the word definite, right? Definite rule, principle, or measure established by authority. Standards of behavior. If y'all remember the clip, the clip from the New York leg of the Game Kings, Definition of Man. One of the things I talked about is manhood. I talked about what being a man means. It's your behaviors. It's how you act. That matters. Being a man has nothing to do with your penis. It has nothing to do with how many women you had sex with. It has nothing to do with whether or not you can fight good. It has nothing to do with how much money you make or how educated you are. None of those things have anything to do with being a man. Okay, let me just hit y'all with this, then we can move on. Principles, a fundamental truth or proposition that serves as the foundation for a system of belief or behavior or for a chain of reasoning, is a kind of rule, belief, or an ideal that guides you. Miles, you did a show with Elle a couple of days ago, and there was a clip that you took from that, and y'all posted it to Facebook and I think to the gram and also to the tube. And in that clip, you were talking about when you deal with women, they're dealing with you strictly based on how you move. Like almost like my way or the highway type shit.
Right.
And when you are a man and you actually have standards and principles, why would you allow a woman to come into your life and do the opposite of those standards and principles by which you live?
Right.
When I tell guys, I strictly deal with women on my terms only. Why would I allow a woman to come into my life and be a disruption to it?
Right.
A woman being a disruption is her trying to interject an agenda or her agenda in your life that goes against the grain of the standards and principles that you live by. You're instantly not compatible when she does that.
Facts.
Y'all got it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, I was because what I was saying on that clip that you're referring to is that when a man says, my way or the highway, the average person just hears that and they think misogyny, or they think that, it's like an ego thing where I'm just trying to force a woman or control a woman. You understand? But the thing is, always like make the analogy to, you know, like let's say an Ivy League college, right? When you get accepted to like a Harvard or a Princeton or one of them, you know, big time schools, right? They'll tell you like, look, you can't be anywhere wearing like a Harvard sweatshirt acting stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be anywhere wearing a Princeton sweatshirt, you know, twerking and doing some old dumb ghetto shit or doing some old dumb shit, or you can't wear a Harvard sweatshirt and rob a bank or some shit. You get what I'm saying? Like you got to uphold the standards and the name of the school. And here's the stupid fucking part, right? There are women out there, like I've been to parties where I was taking photographs.
Miles, real quick. How long do we got you for?
I really should be leaving right now, but what?
Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm gonna just make this point. I've been to parties where I was the photographer, right? And there's like a woman or I've been in a situation, and on the table they have like champagne and shit, and I'm taking pictures, and the lady there's like a lady that'll be at the table, and she'd be like, "Wait, don't take any pictures. I'm a judge, or I hold some type of public office, and I can't have a picture of me sitting at a table with any alcohol on it. So either stop taking pictures or delete those pictures, or I'll pay you if you need me to, but you got to delete those pictures because I can't have that." And I'm like, okay, that's great, but I just bring that up to say this. So you can worry about the standard of your office. You can worry about the standard of the school that you go to. You can uphold the standard of whatever civic duty that you have, right? And it's women out there that they got to uphold the reputation of the firm that they do work for and all this other shit, right? But if your man says, I have standards and principles that I, as a man, live by for the direction of this family, you being my woman and mother of my kids, this is how we got to move. All of a sudden, none of the standards that man is talking about mean anything. And I call bullshit on all of it. You get what I'm saying? Because you can uphold every other institution standard in the land except your man. And if you can uphold every other standard in the land except your man, you shouldn't be with that man. Because it's not like you don't know how to uphold standards. You just don't give a fuck about the one that your man is giving you. You understand? So like I said, whenever the average female hears a man say my way or the highway, they somehow don't think it's important. They think it's less important than the institution of marriage. It's less important than the institution of higher learning. And it's less important than the institution of the fucking company that writes their checks. You understand? And what I'm saying is that if you're a man and you understand who you are, you got a strong masculine identity, you should understand that it's the most important from your point of view, and any woman that you include in your life, she should understand that it's the most important. And with that, I'm going to leave y'all, man. I appreciate it. Zag, you already know. J. Roman, you already know. Chat, everybody else, y'all take it easy. Have a great day. All right, peace, y'all.
Cool. So with Miles' departure, obviously, phone calls will not be taken today. So for anyone that was looking forward to calling in, my apologies off top for that. However, though, you still have the option to ask some questions. And your questions don't have to necessarily be related to the topic of choice. I will implore you, however, make sure that your questions have some substance to it. Sometimes, we may get questions that are a little elementary. Think about your question and make sure that it counts. So that way, when we provide an answer to it, you can actually get something worthwhile from it. So
I was going to say this real quick on what Miles was saying, and just touch on it a little bit. When you don't uphold to what you consider your standard or principle, then that standard is now a suggestion. And the only way you can uphold it is if you stick to it. So the thing is, a lot of individuals, because you did not stick to it, you basically took the garnish off of whatever your standard or principle was, and it slowly became a suggestion, something that they might adhere to. And you continue to allow that to happen without any consequences. And now you're in a situation where you have somebody with you that you're blaming for not holding your standard. However, it was you that did not stay consistent with it and now made it a suggestion. And that's the thing that a lot of guys need to understand when dealing with other people on how come they're not upholding to your standard. Well, at some point you let it be a suggestion and there was no consequence for them not holding up to your standard.
You know what? I want to point out something. I want to go back to something. Okay, real quick. Where is it at? Okay. When Miles was talking about the judge, right? She made sure she was not in any particular picture, right? Where she could compromise herself, where she could compromise her, basically how she's perceived, right? Her reputation means everything to her. And reputation is also important. As a man, your reputation should mean everything to you, right? Now, so because she's a judge, a sitting judge, she had to make sure when I'm in public, I have to be mindful of my surroundings. I have to be mindful of what I'm associated with because that could compromise my reputation. So when we talk about standards, something set or established by an authority, right, as a rule for the measure of quantity, weight, extent, value, or quality. Being a judge, right, you have to be a quality individual. Also, there has to be some value that you bring to that role, to that position, right? And the fact that you want that role, you see value in having it. So the standard of authority was already set before she got there. She's upholding it, right? She said there's a standard associated with being a sitting judge. So she's adhering to that standard. So when I say I strictly deal with women on my terms, so in order for a woman to deal with me, she has to see quality. She has to see the value there, right? She has to see the value in saying, I'm going to deal with Kerry strictly on his terms because I see the benefit in dealing with this man, right? It's something that I not only see the benefit in, but I actually desire to and want to be a part of what he got going on. See, a lot of times when women don't want to deal with you, it's because they don't see the value there, right? And that's why you have women who want to interject their own agenda into your situation because they're saying, I'm not comfortable with how you're moving. So I have to have some leverage in the situation. I have to have some sway or some influence over you to get you to behave in such a way where now I'm comfortable. This is why you might hear women say, girl, he don't act right. What they're saying is he doesn't act in such a way where I'm comfortable with, where I can come into his life and kind of do my thing and have him acquiesce to how I want to do shit. When you are a man, that's not the way it works, right? It's not the way it works. Also, sometimes you might not have women that want to deal with you because your standards are too lofty. They feel like I'm used to doing whatever I want. I'm used to talking to men however I want. Dealing with you, I can't do that. Dealing with you, I can't have a slick mouth. Dealing with you, if I get angry, I can't curse you out because you're not having it. So I can't fuck with you because basically I can't do what the fuck I want in your life. This is why you have to let women go. I did a joint, Jay, and I uploaded it to YouTube for my for the members of my channel, members only content. And I was talking about how guys need to stop trying to hold on to women.
Right.
And oftentimes when you have women that are reluctant to follow your instructions, they make things a challenge for you. Okay, what they're saying is, I don't view you as someone I want to follow. I don't view you as someone that I want to provide instructions to me or be guided by you. I don't want to listen to you. I want to do my own thing. And because of that, they provide resistance. They're reluctant to listen to what you have to say. And for whatever reason, guys are still trying to hang on to these women. An example would be a woman that you text, because you're texting her instructions for a meetup, right? That you guys are going to do or supposedly going to do that weekend. And she never responds directly to what you're texting. but instead she wants to talk about other things. That in and of itself is a woman who doesn't want to follow what you got going on. She'd rather do her own thing under the umbrella of what you're trying to do. Jay Roman, you got it.
No, I think you made a good point, and I just want to kind of go down that road a little bit. You said the establishment or whatever that has these set of standards, well, they're held to a higher regards, right? So you can't have somebody establishing standards and principles and then held at a lesser regard for following them. So here you are, head of household, a leader, or a man in your situation. Do you believe you should be held at a higher regard for that standards when you're involving yourself with somebody else? Because if you're the leader and the one setting these standards, you should be the first person to uphold them. And you're looked at a higher regard. And that in no way is an equal sort of thing, because if I'm supposed to set a standard, I should be the first one to adhere to the standard, right? I'm looked at a higher regard here. So when you don't withhold your own standard, you are basically allowing others to see that standard is not really a standard, but just a suggestion. And to me, that's when things really go awry, when everything that you establish as some do's or do's not are basically looked at as suggestions and what I can and cannot do. So that's just one thing that as a leader, you should uphold yourself, and you're at a higher standard, even when amongst other people.
You know what? I'll say this, and I want guys to think about something. Think about the viral videos that you've seen where there's a guy who's married and she has a child or children by someone else. But this guy is married to this woman and they live under his roof. There was one clip, Jay, where a guy couldn't even really give instructions to her older son. I think the son was like 19, 20.
Nope.
And she was basically saying, you know, I got him. It's okay if he does this. So this man, he can't even set a standard in his own home, right? In his own home. See, that man, and this is what guys got to understand. And Jay Roman, you're a married man with children, so you definitely can relate. And 50 can relate, and Steve can relate. When you are a married man, and even if you're not married, but specifically if you're a married man with kids, that woman should be an extension of your discipline, an extension of your authority. So when you are away from the home, she's an extension of you. Because as the man, if you are a real man, you set the standard in your house. Okay, you set the discipline, right? The rules for the children to follow, how they should conduct themselves at school, how they should conduct themselves away from home. That phrase, home training. Okay, whenever I go anywhere with my children, people always stop me and say, you have some of the most well-behaved children. Because I set the standard in my home, right? I established the discipline, the bylaws and the guidelines by which they adhere to. So when they get out in the world, they act like they got some sense, even when I'm not around.
Yeah.
Even when I'm not around to lord over them, if you will, they still conduct themselves with dignity, with integrity. They still know how to behave. And that's very important, because as a man, if you're unable to establish that standard, those principles, you're going to have a woman and you're going to have kids that run amok. They just do what the fuck they want. And you can't have that. We talk about structure a lot, Jay. We talk about structure. Part of having structure in a foundation is just that, is where you already have it. The woman comes into the fray. She sees it. She says, I like what's going on. I think I can operate very nicely within the confines of how this man is moving. I want to be a part of this. And she appreciates it and respects it. One of my favorite words is deference, humble submission and respect. If I say I strictly deal with women on my terms, a woman who is okay with that is going to show me deference, humble submission, and respect. She's going to humble herself and say, you know what? I'm feeling Carrie. I'm feeling what this man is doing.
One of the
I humbly submit. Go ahead, fam.
one of the best compliments I ever heard was when somebody said, "Oh, I knew you wouldn't go for that." So, you know, I forget all the exact around it, but that person already knew that, oh, I'm not bringing that to him. He ain't gonna go for that. He's not gonna. I already know where he lies on this topic or subject because he's already expressed it. When I have people talk or comment about my kids, oh, yeah, oh, he's real well mannered, or that was so nice to him. I almost don't even want them to say it in front of them because that's the way it's supposed to be, right? It's not going above or beyond. That's where it's supposed to be. And I always tell my son, like, look, to do something is not to do it when everybody is looking, but to do it when nobody is looking. That's when you know that it's inside of you, this standard that you have. I love my bed made in the morning. I love a clean house. I love a tidy house, room. If I'm the last one getting out of this bed, I'm gonna make that bed.
That's order. You're establishing order.
Because that's the way I like it, and that's the way it should be done. If I'm not, though, then the bed still should be made. The house should still look a certain way. And I think that you have to be the one to uphold your standards most and be that example to show consistency before you can move and look anywhere else. One thing I always do when stuff just don't seem to work out the way I want it to, I look at myself and I see the way I presented it. Did I present it consistently? Did I present it with authority? Did I present it as if it was a suggestion, an option, or did I present it like this is what needs to get done? And the majority of times when it doesn't go the way I want it to go, it's because I did not present it the way it should have been presented with that authority. And so that stuff you got to look at yourself with. It's different than humming and discussing and saying, oh, or saying, no. You need to bring yourself in here by this time. That's that. Oh, I thought no. This is the time. And that's that. And a lot of times we'll continue to have conversation so it dwindles down to, oh, well, yeah, you said it, but then we talked some more and I told you I had to go over here and do this. And then, I thought that you knew because of the extra stuff that, this is it. Like, no. Then you got to go back. Okay, did I present it a certain way? And that's where the consistency comes in at. And I think that has nothing to do with women. It has to do with you. Do you consistently get up and brush your teeth? Some cats don't. Some cats don't get up, wash their face, brush their teeth, and take their shower.
First thing I do, I wash my face, brush my teeth. First thing I do in the morning.
Some people don't do that. Some people don't do that before going to bed. Some people have a hard time flossing or a hard time. Like, can you imagine going to the dentist and she says, well, did you floss every night? And you got the same answer that your kid got. You got the same answer that the teenager got. You got the same answer that these other people, and you're like, no, yeah, I do it. That's what I do. Oh, do you do this consistently? If you have a problem doing things consistently, then that's a you, and it has nothing to do with anybody else you deal with. And that's the thing. It's almost like that movie, The Last Dragon, right? Mm. It's kind of funny. The more you work on yourself and get yourself right, the way you really want to look at yourself, that glow starts to affect everything around you because people will see you differently. They'll see you start doing things differently. They'll see you start being more consistent. They'll see you start being more direct. They'll see you start being more on point. And that's contagious. It's very hard. I don't know. You dealt with grandmas and stuff. Everybody got grandmas. And if you don't, I'm sorry, yours not here. But you ever go over grandma's house and something is set? Like, oh, baby, don't sit in that chair. Oh, baby, don't sit in that chair. Don't do that over there. She's so consistent like that. You go over there, you don't even touch that area no more. You don't even walk over there. You don't even do anything over there. It has already been established. And you do things like grandma wants you to do at grandma's house. You do things like you're supposed to do because she is so consistent on correcting you. And you tried it 1,000 times. And that's it. So, you have to be consistent with yourself and then move on from there. And I'm gonna keep saying it because that's one of the most important things. And I've seen some questions come up on how do you establish values? How do you establish certain things? You got to establish stuff in your life where you see the value in yourself before anybody else can see the value in you. If you can't say somebody will be honored to be standing next to me, if you don't feel like that about yourself, then you need to work on yourself to add value to you.
That's facts. Okay, and I'm going to go back to the title, gentlemen. Being a real man has nothing to do with women. Has nothing to do with women. Okay, even chivalry. And I just want to touch on that real briefly. Even chivalry has nothing to do with women. When you go back to chivalry, what is it really? It's basically a knight's code of honor. It's a knight's code of honor. Now, part of the knight's code of honor was to protect the weak, right? Who were considered weak? Women, children, and the elderly. Okay, and even other men who maybe they weren't knights, right? They weren't trained in the art of combat and all that type of shit. Okay, the villagers, okay, that's your job. Nice code of honor, right? Talking about courage, courtesy. Courtesy was included in that. What's the courteous thing to do, Jay Roman? Hold the door open for somebody? Pull out a chair for a young lady? That's a courteous thing to do. That's all chivalry really is courtesy. For whatever reason, you know, it was adopted by women as something that they should only experience, right? When they talk about chivalry. And for whatever reason, because guys are weak, they automatically made everything they do about women, even chivalry. So a lot of men have a hand in turning what it means to be chivalrous into strictly something about women. This is why you got guys that say chivalry is dead. No, it's not. Since when did being a courteous, courageous man protecting the weak become dead? It's alive and well. The problem is you have far too many guys that make everything about women. Okay, even compliments, they make everything about women. So of course, if you make everything about women and then you start exhibiting these things and you're not getting the favorable outcomes or results you want, of course you're gonna stop doing it because you made it all about women. This is why you got guys that say, don't validate women. Don't give women compliments. Because they did it all at the behest of the woman and it didn't work. They didn't get no sex, Jay Roman. So that's why they stopped doing that. Oh, don't hold the door open for these women. Don't tell them this. Don't tell them they look good or whatever, because you're not going to benefit from it. You made it all about the woman. I can give women compliments. Okay, I don't need to have sex with a woman. I don't have to be sexually attracted to a woman to give her a compliment. I can go into a liquor store. I can go into a dry cleaner. I can see one of the young ladies there who has her nails done and she typically doesn't. I can compliment that. I can see she has a different hairstyle she typically doesn't wear. I can tell her, oh, somebody look good. Like, you clean up well. You looking nice today. I love that hairstyle on you. I'm not trying to fuck her, but the problem with the average guy, they only give compliments to women when they want to fuck them.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Pam. You got it.
No,
you got it.
You made a good point. I'll tell you, just for the guys, that's a smooth, good little compliment. It doesn't really, if people worried, oh, the Me Too movement and all this other stuff, hey, just say somebody, hey, good hair day. That's just a quick and smooth, good hair day. Your hair is looking really nice. It's a nice way to just talk to somebody if you really want to. But you made a good point, because if you don't do about yourself, you're always going to hit this tally level, right? And you're going to go tit for tat and with something. And to me, that's never how it should be. I do things because I am the type of man I am, because the standards I have for myself. And it has nothing to do with it. I know it sounds kind of harsh. Like, it doesn't matter what woman I'm with. She's going to get this guy, right? Because this guy is standard by himself. She doesn't influence this guy on who I am. I'm going to be the same guy that goes and take care of bills and cars and the house and all this other stuff because that's the guy I am. It's not influenced by what she is doing. And I think that's the thing where a lot of guys these days are on this tit for tat. Well, I'm not going to do this if you don't do this, and I'm not going to do that and not do that. Why are you with the person if they didn't hold up to your standards in the first place? That's where you messed up at. Now it's not the time for tit for tat. It should never be that. And I think that's the thing when you hold the door. Some people hold the door to get a thank you. Now,
Exactly.
yes, it is nice for common courtesy for somebody to say, hey, thank you for holding the door. But I just held the door because I felt like I wanted to hold the door. That was it. There you go. It's not to show the world that I'm a courteous person. It's just what I felt like doing for myself to be this person. I think that's the thing. If you don't get joy out of being who you are, then you need a lot of work on yourself.
To your point, I want guys to understand. Do y'all know how many times I held the door open for both men and women? You know, even these little children out here, they ain't got no home trainer. And they just walk through that motherfucker and they don't mumble a word to me. They don't say nothing. They just walk through the door.
Yeah.
And my thing is, as rude as that may be to me sometimes, I've never not once thought about not holding the door open for the next person. Why? Because it's my standard. It's what I do. I don't do it for a thank you. I don't do it for a pretty woman to smile at me. I don't do it for anybody else, right? That's my little selfless act of the day.
Right.
To hold the door open for somebody. If I'm in an elevator and I see somebody running and they're about 15 feet away, I can let the door close and say, fuck them. They ain't here. Oh, well. But I'll hold the door open. Hey, I'm holding the door open. You ain't got to run. Take your time. I got you. And I'm not looking for a thank you. That's just me. So I don't do shit to always get some type of response from people. And I think that's the problem with a lot of people, both men and women, but we're talking about men, is you do things for a desired outcome, and when that outcome doesn't come, you no longer want to do that thing. And I think men need to get to a point where you just are a good character man, and you just do shit because of the fact that you are a good character man. This is why I laugh when guys who are self-professed good men, they complain about the fact that they have issues with women. And my thing is, if you are really a solid dude, if you are a thorough man, women will notice that. So if you are a self-professed good man and you're having issues with women, could it be that you are inclined to exhibit certain things towards women only to try and get something or extract something? And when you're unable to get whatever it is you're trying to get or extract whatever it is you're trying to extract, hey, now you're showing them a different side of you? Could it be that there's inconsistency with your character? Can you call yourself a real man if there's holes in your character? Can you call yourself a real man if there's inconsistencies in how you move? And that's another thing that guys have issues with. Show me an inconsistent individual. I'll show you a person that people don't respect. You got to fail.
I just wanted to, we talked about pushing in a chair for somebody, right? Well, back in the day, I heard this. I'd never double checked or looked it up. So if I'm wrong, somebody let me know, if somebody has actually looked this up. But chairs back in the day were heavy by the material they were made out of. So it was a guy's job to push that chair in and help that lady out to move that chair in. Now, how it became a chivalrous thing now or whatever, okay, cool, but they were pretty heavy. And I think that, on both sides, the art is lost, right? Because you'll have somebody, have you ever tried to move in the chair now with somebody? The young lady will sit completely on the chair, right? And you got to tell, you got to get up off the chair a little bit so I can help scoot it in to scoot you in. You can't just sit flat on the chair because now I'm picking the chair up and you up. It's just one of those little things, that even some ladies don't even know how to accept the standard that you might have. And that's why you have to have your own set of standards. Maybe she's rejects that because she don't know how to accept it, because it's not shown to her so often. You cannot go to her standard now. You still have to consistently be your standard of things. So, just a note. I can't hear you anymore.
Okay, no, I'm glad you made that point, because again, we're talking about a code of conduct. Okay, you as a man, you should be governed by certain codes. You know what I'm saying? You should be governed by those things. And just because you have negative experiences with women or unfavorable experience with women, that should not impact your personal code of conduct. Okay, how you move. Okay, it's for you. Okay, me having dignity, me having integrity, me being an honorable individual, it's for me. It's not because I'm worried about being perceived in a certain way, or I'm trying to control people's perceptions of me. That's for me. Because at the end of the day, when I'm all by myself and I'm looking in the mirror before I go to bed at night, I'm looking in the mirror when I wake up in the morning, I need to be proud of who the fuck I am. Okay, regardless of what a woman's opinion is, regardless of what Jay Roman, Miles, 50, L, Steve, regardless of what their opinions is of me or any woman I may deal with, or even my children, I have to like the man in the mirror, right? I have to look at myself and be like, you that motherfucker? And I'm not saying I'm that motherfucker because I can get women. No, you that motherfucker because you are a solid, consistent man. Everything you do is consistent.
I think that's a true strong key. I look at it as control. I never liked anybody having any sort of control over me. And then what I mean by that is I don't let anybody change my own standard on how I want to behave or act. I don't walk around with a mean mug. I don't walk around like one of those guys. I'm one of the guys that's smiling, talking, enjoying my day. That's how I enjoy my day. Now, I know everybody has a job. They go to work, and sometimes people don't like you at work, and that's just how it goes. You're not going to click or be cool with everybody. I don't even tend to be cool or click with everybody. But whoever that person is doesn't change my demeanor, because I want to have a certain demeanor about myself. So, I'm like, what's up? What's up? And I'll go on about my day. Now, I had a partner of mine one day, because we knew somebody at our job was pretty much a hater. And this hater, was trying to get us basically in trouble or try to get us fired, but he couldn't. My demeanor never changed toward that person. Now, I ain't saying we out having lunch together and I'm kicking it or I'm in his face, hey, how you doing? I ain't doing none of that. But at the same time, I'm not going to come in and turn my head up, turn my face up to look at you, stare at you, whatever. That's not my thing. I'm like, yo, what's up? How you doing? I'm just like, hey, what's up? And roll on. All right. My demeanor is set by me and not anybody else. And I never want anybody to control how my demeanor or how I move. And so I can stay consistent to me and how I am. That's even dealing with women. Like, a lot of you guys will get at somebody at work, see them again and feel salty or feel a certain way. I don't feel a certain way. If I'm like, what's up, the day before I got at you and it didn't work out, I'm still, hey, what's up? How you doing? And roll it on. Now, I ain't tap dancing in front of your face, and I'm not going to purposely try to act like my life is cool so you to feel like, oh, I messed up on not talking to that guy. Nah, I'm not changing anything, because I am who I am. And that's the one part, if you grew up in my era when Popeye was really big, that was his saying, I am who I am. And I used to love that saying, and it was simple. And I adopted that for a lot of things. Like, I'm just me. I'm just who I am. And I'm cool with that. I'm happy with that. Some of you guys, and I think there was a question on here, and I really want to get to these questions because we don't have the phone lines. Okay. And so I kind of want to get through it as we talk.
Just let me know
But
when you're ready. I got
yeah, one of the questions was this Win was talking about how is it possible for me to have high standards when it comes to women when most of my experiences with women have been taking L's. Women don't come into my life very often, so it's hard for me. Now, to me, you started off this question very right, and I think that's where it should end. How is it possible for me to have high standards? Nothing else about the women at this point, and because the rest of it, you taking L's, women don't come in my life very often, and all that. That's making it all about them and more about yourself. You need, I think, and less about yourself. You need to have standards for yourself. What are your standards for yourself? What did you set as bottom line that you will do? How do you handle your day? Some of you guys wake up and can't have a great day unless a woman is involved.
Shameful.
Yes, just some of you guys can't even wake up and enjoy different little things about the day without having any interaction from somebody else involved. Some of y'all don't even know what to order for dinner without having somebody say, "Hey man, what you think? Hey, let's do this." Oh, okay, yeah, I'm down with that. Some of y'all change your opinion a lot. If you're the guy that says, "Hey, I want to go do this," and your boys be like, "Hey, I want to do this," and you don't go, "All right, well, I'm gonna go over here. I'll catch you after that." A lot of you guys have never said that. A lot of you guys have changed your direction and said, oh, "Okay, I'll roll with you then." It's those little things where you got to learn to set standards and principles for yourself.
For yourself. It's for you. It's not for the woman.
It's just it's simple, and I feel like Win, you might want to call or get on Zag's program, or I don't know if Zag has like a free consultation and talk to him, because there's way more involved.
I got consultations, but they ain't free.
Well, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. I think there's way more involved in this question than just standards, because your standard might be different than my standard. Maybe you don't care about the bed. Maybe you don't care about pushing in a chair. We're not saying you have to push in a chair. We're not saying you have to hold a door open. But if you do, it shouldn't be for the other person. It should be for yourself. So what standards do you have for yourself that you will make yourself proud? And that's the thing. If you never make yourself proud, then that's a sad thing, and your standards are only coming from other people.
Win, I'm gonna put this on your conscience. Could it be the fact that you're taking L's with women is because you have no standards to begin with, and they see that? So if you lack standards, how can women see the value in dealing with you if you have no standards for yourself? See, what guys have to understand is, in order for a woman to want to submit to a man or follow you, right, she has to trust and believe in your leadership attributes or your qualities. She has to see something there where she feels safe. And that's part of protection and security is not necessarily just about money. It's also about consistency. It's about a woman coming into a fold and she feels like, I'm safe here. I'm dealing with a man who is reliable and dependable. And I can see the consistency in dealing with him because he has structure in his life. He has standards. I can see this man as a principled man. Maybe you lack those things. And when women realize you lack those things, they don't want to waste their time dealing with you. When could it be that? Because you say, how is it possible for me to have high standards when it comes to women? You having standards has nothing to do with women. See, two things can be true at the same time. When you can have standards for yourself that are there with or without women being in your life, and also the byproduct of you having standards is attractive to women. So if a woman does deal with you, she benefits from the fact that you are a principled man with standards, right? How you gonna be a man with integrity? How you gonna be an honorable individual? How you gonna be a high character man who has integrity and dignity if you don't have no fucking standards? That don't even make sense. Okay, and you don't sit there and try to adopt standards for women. Look, I'll liken it to this, or I'll use this parallel to describe what it is. Right? Oftentimes you'll hear women say they have standards, and women, not all women, but some women tend to confuse dating preferences with standards. One of the things about dating preferences is this: dating preferences are flexible. Standards are not. Standards are not flexible. If you are applying for a job at a corporation and you're online applying and they're telling you the requirements for that job, they're saying you need an MBA, you need X amount of years in that position or in this role. If you apply for that job and you don't have an MBA, they're not going to hire you. If you apply for that job and you don't have X amount of years in that particular field along with that MBA, they're not going to hire you. Why? Because their standards are not fucking flexible. They don't care who the fuck you are. Okay? They can do an interview with you and they can personally like you. They're not going to hire you because their standard is their standard. Standards are not flexible. Okay? We live and die by them shits, period. Right? So that means if a woman is not going to deal with me based on my terms, right? I don't want her then. She can step. Why? Because my standard is my standard, right? I'm not negotiating my standard for no fucking pussy, nigga. I'm not negotiating my standard just because I like a woman. And I got to be more flexible with my standard so I can have her in my life. I don't want her then. If I got to compromise myself to have her, she ain't worth having, period. So when you say, how is it possible for me to have standards when it comes to women, when most of my experiences with women have been taking L's, women don't come into my life very often, so it's hard for me. What that means is you're willing to acquiesce. You're willing to capitulate to women just so you can have a woman in your life. If you're doing that, bro, you will never, and I repeat, you will never meet a woman who respects you and admires you. Never. You're always going to have women who come into your life and they just tap dance all in your motherfucking life because you don't have no standard for them to abide by, because you don't have no standard for you to abide by. You got it, fam.
No, I think you make some great points, and I think sometimes people need to understand that women is a side effect of you getting yourself together with these standards. It's not what this is for, right? And so that's the thing. You don't principle and standard yourself to get women. You principle and standard yourself for yourself, and just for people to understand that feeling, because there's probably people that had that feeling and didn't really know what it was. And I'm explaining to you. If you ever mess up, I mess up. I'm not a perfect human. We're all imperfect. If you ever mess up and there's nothing that nobody can say that you don't get on yourself about. In fact, before anybody else knows about the mess up, you're already on yourself, right? You're already on yourself hard. And you're upset, not because somebody finds out, not because somebody's going to look at you different, but yourself is looking at yourself and saying, you know what? I don't even know why I did that. I don't even know why I did that. That's you starting to understand your standard and saying, you know what? I am better than this. I need to hold myself to a certain regard, hold myself a certain way. And I think that needs to go throughout all directions of your life when you start living like that. There's times I messed up at work, honest mistakes, but there's nothing nobody could tell me. There's, I had bosses that come to me and be like, hey, you messed up. I said, man, I already know. I can't even believe I did that. They don't even talk to me about it anymore. They're talking to me, talking about, hey, it'll be all right. Don't worry about it.
You know why? Because you have cachet. You have cachet with them. The reason why you have cachet is because they respect you.
It's like, I'm getting on myself more than you can get on me right now. Like, I don't, that's just how it goes. And the thing is, that's because they can see that it's a standard. Now, I'll tell y'all this. I enjoy working. I'm a worker. I work for myself. I work for other people. You know, I'm an employee as well as a boss, right? A job is just a job, right? It's a place where you go to get money. The thing about it is, I work for myself on how I want to be a worker. I pride myself on working a certain way because I want to make my own self proud. And I think that's the thing. It don't matter where you're at. I don't care if you're working for somebody and you hate your job. You still should be an excellent employee at that job. Even if it's just to be an excellent employee until you leave that job. I'm not saying stay at that job, but the standard you have for yourself shouldn't fluctuate where you're at. It should already be in you. So you could hate a job and still be a great employee, and they just gonna miss you more when you say peace. They'll find somebody else. They will. You know, that's why, hey, they'll find somebody else. But at the same time, when you leave that job and go somewhere else, what they cannot deny is when that job calls them and say, hey, what type of worker was he? They're gonna have to admit, like, hey, you know what? He was excellent. You know, he did the job, he was cool, he did everything he had to do, and go from there. You're never going to be worried about that review because you know what you've done at any place. That sort of review is what you should have of yourself, though. Like, you should have that review already in your head about what you want to live your life like and what you want to live up to. If you don't have an image of that man, not male, but of that man in your life that you want to live up to, then you definitely need to get that image of yourself. You definitely need to talk to somebody. You definitely need to look at somebody. You definitely need to sit down with yourself and do some stuff. Like, I wrote down one day, and this is just me. I wrote down every aspect of myself, the type of person that somebody would get next to me. And I wrote down everything I wanted. When you start writing that down, and the things that you say that you are, now you got to live up to it. You just put acknowledgement to it. You can't say I got standard and don't have any acknowledgement to it. Now you have to have acknowledgement to it and be consistent with it. Because if not, it's just a suggestion.
That's some real shit. That's some real shit. And I think guys need to understand that. And one of the things that I haven't talked about in a while is building yourself, right, as a man. And that starts from the inside out. Unfortunately, a lot of guys, they like to start from the outside in. And all you're doing is really peacocking, okay? And what I mean by that is, okay, you can get a degree, right? You can go get a degree in STEM where you can be guaranteed a job that's going to pay you a lot of money. So now you can take that money and you can go buy yourself a bunch of suits, jewelry, nice cars, a nice residence. So when people see you, you look like you got it all together. Yeah, externally, but internally you're a mess because you never worked on yourself as a man. This is why what you do for a living, your level of education, it's not who you are. It's just what you do. But it's not who you are. Your mindset, your mentality, the way that you think, right? The way that you conduct yourself, that's representative of who you are. Okay, this is why when guys talk about looks, money, status, oh, you need looks, money, status to win the affection of women. And I'm not saying you can't get attention from women or interest from women with quote unquote looks, money, status. But if you think women are gonna respect you, if they happen to be interested in you because of those things, if you think respect automatically comes with that, no, it doesn't. No, it does not. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you this: when it comes to what type of man you actually are, the way that you behave and conduct yourself, that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where ultimately women will decide whether or not you're worthy of respect. Is how you actually behave and how you act, regardless of what car you got in your driveway, regardless of your zip code, regardless. Because Okay, regardless, none of that shit matters. Nobody's gonna respect you because you got a Benz and say, oh, the guy that got a fucking Nissan Sentra, he's worthy of less respect because he has the Nissan Sentra. The guy that has the $100,000 745 or 740 BMW, he's worthy of more respect because he has a hotter car. That's not the way the real world works. On the internet got you niggas fooled. In the real world, it don't work that way.
And if you think that's what she thinks, really, is that the one you really want next to you? Because she automatically devalued your hard work or what you work for or your plan, right? So that's the thing. As you were talking, I was thinking about that guy's thing about taking L's. A lot of you guys consider something a L when really it's not a L. That person ain't for you, right? So if you worked hard on building yourself and you consider this person that doesn't want to be next to you with any of this stuff a L, then actually you're upholding yourself to how she feels her standard is. Because really, it's actually a good thing because they didn't really want to be next to you for you and not for whatever you had. So if somebody wants to be next to you just because you do have a Benz, or somebody wants to be next to you just because you do have this nice house, well, that's not really you then. So now you're going to be very subconscious. You're going to be very insecure because you think these are the things that holds her. What if you lose these things? Right. And so now you're going, well, I got to get this back and I got to get that. People who subscribed to materialistic things as the only thing that holds them is trapped in this insecurity jail, I call it, right? Because if you don't keep that riches up, you'll always wonder, is she really here for me? Or is she here for these things I can provide? And that's it. So for the guy that says, oh, I want these high standards, but I keep taking the L. Well, I don't really consider you keep taking the L. I consider that if you're not finding somebody for you, then you just got more time to find that person. At least you're getting rid of people that's only there for what you would do for them instead of being there for you.
There you have it. Let me say this, gentlemen. We're not going to be here too long. I got shit I got to do, and the fact that we can't take phone calls, does,
Let's go down these questions then.
Yeah. We're gonna get to these questions. So next question. Let me do this. So John Walker says, "Great show. Any tips for keeping the sex drive high and consistent with long-term relationships? I'm noticing that I may have vetted a lazy woman that may need to be demoted." First of all, part of what makes sex pleasurable with the next person is how creative both of you are, right? So when you said a lazy woman, if you vetted her for a significant period of time before you got into a relationship, you would have known she was lazy. See, a lot of people like to get into these relationships after 2, 3, 4 months of dating. Anybody can fake it for 2, 3, 4 months. It's not hard to wear a mask or to be a chameleon for 2, 3, 4 months. People do it at jobs all the time. How many people do all of y'all know? And some of y'all might be these people where when you first get on the job, you abide by all the fucking rules. You know what I'm saying? You clock out for lunch and your breaks on time. You come back. But after about 2, 3, 4 months, once you realize how lax some people are, maybe your manager isn't a micromanager, what do you begin to do? Instead of 30 minutes, you take 35 minutes for lunch, right? Instead of being at your desk at 8 o'clock ready to work, you're there at 8:07, right? So you played the role long enough to see, are there any holes? Okay, what can I get away with, right? So, and once you start peeping what you can get away with, you don't start doing it at first. You just peep game and watch, and then you start to kind of getting away with shit and doing little extra shit. It ain't no different than when people come into your life. They might be on their best behavior at first, right? Because they see a benefit to dealing with you. But the moment they see inconsistencies or they see that you're laxed, right? Or you're a little more flexible than they originally thought you were, all of a sudden, you know what they say, give somebody an inch, they'll take a mile. So John Walker, you could be going through that right now. You gave her an inch and she took a mile. Go ahead, Joe Roman, you got it.
No, I understand. And the thing is, I like the part that you said, I may have noticed that I may have vetted a lazy woman that I need to be demoted. My thing is, if you recognize your misvetting, right? And that's the key. You got to recognize the things that you did wrong in that vetting process. And you can't blame her for that. You got to blame yourself for that. Now, do you have kids? Do you don't have kids? You know, but either way, it seems like you got the issue and the solution right there in that sentence. You
Jay
know?
Roman.
So
it's funny how he's called a woman lazy. His vetting process is lazy.
Yeah, but he has to recognize that and understand what you need to do different. A lot of times, this is the course of a lot of relationships that I see happening. You meet a young lady that you feel that is attractive. She's attracted to you. You guys start smashing on it consistently. You're smashing consistently. You don't vet much past that point. You know, you might go out to dinner and you realize, oh, okay, we're compatible as far as being able to sit across each other and eat dinner. We're compatible as far as going to the movies. We're compatible as far as having a good time going out to listen to some music or stuff. And then we smash. And people feel like that's a relationship. So why not? Why not be boyfriend and girlfriend now? Why not continue it from this point when there's so much more to vetting? What did you vet for? Did you vet for somebody to be just with you? Or did you vet for somebody that possibly could have your children one day? See, all that is a lot different and a different approach on the standards and qualities that you have to adhere from for yourself and who you're with. So my thing is, if she doesn't live up to that standard now, if you guys don't have any kids and are not married, I think you got the answer in that sentence. If you do have kids and you are married, I think then you need to go back and sit down, have that conversation, state the things on, I like to call it what did the president do? He does the address, the presidential address. I like to have the presidential address. Like, hey, this is where we're at. This is where we are at. This is what we are doing this year. This is where we're at. This is what I'm seeing, right? This is the stuff has consequences to it. And the thing is, you got to stick to it from that point on. And that's the stuff. It has to be consistent. I believe that I understand some guys out there, they might be in situations because they didn't vet properly. Like, and you already know it. And you sit there like, damn, I messed up. I know I messed up. I didn't vet properly. I'm in this situation now, you know, things, and I get it. State of the Union. Thanks, JP, for putting that on there. But
my bad, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was saying, JP, the presidential thing is the State of the Union. So I appreciate him putting that on there. But I understand how you got there. And so now, and me and Zag was talking about this and actually coming out with a series on possible steps to try to maintain that relationship. Because some of you guys say, hey, everything is cool except this, or everything cool except that. But that was all part of that vetting process. And the thing is, you have to start being consistent on your nature. And a lot of times you guys are consistent on complaining and consistent on recognizing and not consistent on changing yourself. So the thing is, you say consistency now has to be your first name. You have to be consistent. You have to be consistent. You have to let that person know and communicate. And that's where the game still comes in. And like I said, my definition of game might be different than everybody else's. I think a big component, because there are different components of it, is expressing and communicating your manhood, right? This leadership that you have. And so you have to be able to express it so the person understands it, knows what the direction is, and going from there and being consistent and keeping everybody to that direction. And I think that's where a lot of guys fall short, because not only do you feel like they're comfortable in a relationship, but you're comfortable in a relationship too. You're comfortable in a relationship too. How many times you told your woman you was going to get to something and didn't get to it? right? So you've been comfortable in the relationship too. Now it's time to do something different.
Well, let me add this, and this is something I want John Walker to think about, and I want other men to think about. A lot of times when you guys are first meeting women, don't get fooled by the frequency of sex. Okay, let me explain what I mean. Some women are very adept at giving you what they believe you want so they can get what they want. Meaning this, you may have a woman that has a low sex drive, or she is not really all that compatible with you sexually. Just because a woman is having sex with you doesn't mean you guys are sexually compatible, right? But you believe you guys are sexually compatible simply because she's still having sex with you. So sometimes women will allow you to fuck them a lot in the beginning because they know that if they allow you to do that, that will also give them access to you. And if they can get access to you repeatedly, eventually they can get what they ultimately want from you, which is a relationship. So what typically happens is if you get into a relationship with a woman and you see that the frequency of the sex starts to dwindle, a couple of different things could be going on. One, she never really had a high sex drive to begin with. And if a woman has a low sex drive, that can also impact her actual desire to want to fuck. That's going to impact that, right? Another thing to think about is she really don't like the sex like that. Okay, and it's not that she doesn't like sex. She just doesn't like it with you like that, and she's just giving you sex just to keep the interaction or the situation going because she's benefiting from the interaction with you in other ways beyond just the sex. You got to understand when you're in a relationship, how often are you laying in the bed fucking? A very small, minute period of time. There's other things that's going on within a relationship that a woman finds value in outside of just the sex. So if you find that the woman really doesn't get horny like that, she ain't really trying to fuck you like that, she just did what she needed to do in the beginning to get to the point that she got to, which is to land you as her boyfriend. That could be what's going on too.
And a lot of times too, she knows all your moves. She knows all your moves. You don't say, come get this like you used to. You don't say, hey, suck this dick. Like you don't say certain things like you used to anymore. You don't call and be like, hey, how that thing doing? Like there's stuff that you're not doing too. And I don't want to get to a point where it's like you as men, I hold for a higher regards. So a lot of times, yeah, consistency in the things that we need to do. But there's a lot of stuff that comes to factor on the other side too. Like women go through some stuff that, especially mothers who had kids and they don't feel sexy the way they look. They don't feel a certain way there's a lot of different factors when you're in a relationship with somebody for some time period. But ultimately, to me, that respect, that attraction is dying down. Because
I can tell you this.
Let's be honest.
Being inconsistent. That's going to impact the level of attraction a woman has for you.
Yeah, that's
going to impact her desire to want to fuck you too.
So get to a point where you respect and desire yourself, and then go from there. But have that State of the Union and go from there. And fellas, more fellas like this. I'm gonna put this out here right now. Me and Zag done had some discussions. We're gonna put together some stuff where we kind of attacked that subject for those cats that are in relationships, those cats that are in that thing that don't want to do the ultimate, because the ultimate thing is you got to start all over. Like once you learn and grow, if the person doesn't learn and grow with you, then it feels like a weight as you're learning and growing, right? Where you can't really move the way you want to. You can't really do things the way you want to because now you're in this different mindset, different plane. It doesn't mean that person is all that bad. It just means that right now you guys aren't on that level with each other because you vetted improperly. You can give that person an opportunity to try to raise their standards as you raise yours to revet, if that's possible. And there's a lot of people that say that's not possible.
But
Me and Zach say it's possible. And we're gonna try to see if we can get some some movement on that, to go from there, because a lot of you guys are afraid to leave her. You're afraid to leave her, and then some of you guys are in positions with kids, finances, and things like that, where it might not be financially you're able to leave. Like what the one comedic say, I forget his name, when he was like, "Hey, a lot of y'all don't understand. Your man is one good job away from leaving."
Hey, that's true. And sometimes the woman is one good job away from leaving.
Yeah,
Bro,
yeah.
There was this one story where this married couple, they had been married for a few years, and both of them had been to college, but neither one of them graduated. So and they're married, mind you. So both of them agreed to go back to college. And so the man, he said, he told his wife, all right, you're gonna go back first, and I'm gonna help you pay for it. In other words, I'm gonna put you through college. Because I guess they got to a point financially where he could help her financially. He put her through college. She went and got a law degree. As soon as she got that law degree in her hand, she was out of there. She was out of there, bro. So sometimes a woman is with you because the end justify the means. She's just biding her time where she can either run into a better situation or she can actually become the better situation, and she out of there. And that ultimately means she settled for you. But let's get to this next question real quick. He says, is pretty privilege a real thing with women? It is, but why do you care? And I'm gonna get to that in just a moment.
Yeah.
He said, can I use that to my advantage by ignoring them? What's wrong with y'all in this red pill nonsense? To have them work harder for my validation. Bro, okay, international view. I don't know what YouTube channels you watch. Stop watching them. You're delusional. Bro, just because you ignore a woman doesn't mean that they're going to start paying you attention. In order for a woman to even do that, she has to already want you. She has to already want you. Bro, you cannot manufacture genuine attraction. Okay, you cannot walk up on a woman and start ignoring her, and all of a sudden she's like, you're ignoring me. Give me some attention. I need it. I desire you. I want you. Bro, that's not the way the real world works. Now, as far as pretty privilege, there is attractiveness privilege. Meaning this, and it's been proven that attractive people get treated differently, both men and women. And when I say treated differently, I'm not talking about the opposite sex. I'm talking about when it comes to even job interviews, right? If a woman is talking to a man that is very attractive and she's attracted to him, and in some cases she might hire to do. Same with women. If women are very attractive and the guy is talking to him, and maybe the woman is a shitty interviewer, but if she looked good in that dress she got on, some guys will hire her anyway, simply because she's eye candy. So people who are attractive, they do sometimes get little perks like that. But then what they got to do with you though? You know, they ain't got nothing to do with you. So, and as far as using that to your advantage, the only time you can really use that to your advantage is if you're one of those people. If you're one of those people and people are fucking with you because you're good looking, you can use if you are a very attractive woman, you can use that to your advantage. If women think you're very handsome and good looking, you can definitely use that to your advantage. But you using somebody else's good looks to your advantage, unless you're talking about putting a woman on OnlyFans, no, you can't use that to your advantage.
I think if you're ignoring her or doing anything like that as part of your game to try to get her, then you're already messed up. It should just be your personality, because you're not going to sustain that. As soon as she comes over there and now she's really into you, and now you're going to start acting goofy, right? You're going to start doing anything and everything she says, because really you was just doing it for her attention and not because you didn't put her on a pedestal. Like, I'm not putting you on a pedestal. You cool if that's not naturally in you. Like if you're really attracted to her, like, oh, I'm attracted to her, so I'm gonna be mean to her just so she could like me. Well, as soon as she starts liking you, you're gonna go back to your goofy self because you was only using it for her. Like you weren't really using it. Wasn't really you. It was just
exactly
for her. So it's not gonna be sustainable. And then later on you'll complain that, you know, she did this and did that. Well, that's because it was manufactured and it wasn't really you. You were manufactured just to try to get her. And I think that, you know, as far as the pretty thing, I agree with Zach completely 100%. But also, I don't know, because, you know, I don't consider myself the most handsomest dude, but I mean, I got a lot of shit for free. And that's just because I'm just talking to him. I'm just like,
hey,
you know what? I'm like, hey, you know, I get
hey.
seated here, over there. Like, I make people smile, they enjoy it. Next, you know, we in there. You know,
being a little flirtatious, bro. Jay Roman, real quick. Let me just say this to your point. And I don't drink as much as I used to. In fact, I haven't had any alcohol in months. But when I would get free liquor. The lady that would work there would be like, you know what? Take that with you. You can have that on the house. I'm walking out with a big ass bottle. That, and I would go get my dry cleaning, and the lady would be like, you know what? We're gonna give you half off. Like my bill would be like $35-$40. And she like, just give me 20, we'll call it a day. So yes, so I've gotten either discounts or free shit from dealing with women who they just like my presence. They like talking to me.
Yeah.
And I don't automatically assume they want to fuck me. I don't think it's that though.
No.
I just think I'm a very pleasant guy, and they just like the energy and the aura that I give off, and I'm flirty. You know what I'm saying? And they like that type of shit. So
yeah.
So,
I just felt like they just wanted to give me something for free. Like they didn't want to do anything further than that. They just you know, felt the aura and was like, man, I need to get this dude something for free.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
you know, it's I guess, you know, people be like, a pretty thing. Yeah, a pretty thing is a thing, but at the same time, if you know how to talk and make people enjoy your presence, then it'll be a thing for you too.
You know what it is, Jay Roman? My presence is handsome.
There we go.
My presence is fine as fuck. So for all the women that use those superlatives to describe a man, my presence is fine as fuck. Yes. Shit, I don't give a fuck what women think about me visually, but my presence is fine as fuck.
There we go. I like that. My presence is fine as fuck. So is this a super chat from Isaiah Parker?
Yeah.
$5. Appreciate that. Every day we should ask ourselves, am I proud of the man I am was today?
There you go.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you proud of who you are? And you shouldn't rely on other people telling you shit to make you feel proud.
I don't think a lot of people know what do things with pride means anymore. I think it's in this very self world here, we got this coddling world that we have, you know, to do things with pride is kind of, you know, why do I have to do something that nobody else does? Like, nah, it's about yourself. Do it with some pride. I always tell that to my kiddo, like, yo, man, you know, do it with some pride, or go represent us with some pride. Like, go represent, you know. Razzle with the question, has the ability of women being able to make money, have social media, have the system on their side, damage the game for men and women to connect long term? Not for me. I don't.
Bro.
What do you say about that?
Y'all need to get off the fucking internet. No, bro. Because what he's saying is, has a woman's ability to be able to make money for herself. I guess when women say shit like, I don't need a man, or I'm independent, I'm a boss bitch, he's talking about that shit. And he says, has social media have and the system, I guess he's talking about the legal system. Damn it. Man, y'all, bro. No. Razzle, if any man listening, okay, in real life, you're one of two things. When women deal with you, you're one of two things in a woman's eyes. You are a winner or a loser. That's what the fuck you are. So Razzle, so if you're at a bar or a lounge and you're talking to a woman, what the fuck does social media have to do with that conversation? What the fuck does the legal system regarding child support, child custody, divorce, none of that factors in to the conversation that you're having with the woman. If you at a bar at night on a Saturday evening What the fuck does her job or your job got to do with that interaction? Nothing. See, these are all copes. And see, this is what guys do, Jay Roman. When they have trouble with women, instead of looking at themselves, they like to look at everything else outside of them as to why women don't want to fuck with them. No, women don't want to fuck with you because of you. And let me say this about social media. Goddamn. And I'm glad he brought that up. Let me say this right here. Let me go on record. And y'all can timestamp this shit I'm about to say. Social media is like money. Money doesn't change you. It makes you a bigger whatever you were before you got it. Social media is the same way. This is what I mean by that. If you live in a town with 20,000 people, and you're one of those people where you like to kind of pretend your life is better than what it really is, the advent of social media, now you got more motherfuckers to front for. That's all social media did. If you're the type of a woman who likes attention, like, so let's say you're walking down your farm community, you're walking down the street with Daisy Dukes on. Now the internet, now you can post pictures and more people can see you with your Daisy Dukes on. That's all that social media did, was give people more access to see things they typically don't see, right? So all this shit on social media, I didn't see women basically crave attention in real life. Long before social media. When I was in high school, middle school, I seen it. There is nothing new under the sun. Social media has not shown me anything new. It really hasn't. It's just shown me what I've always seen. The problem with a lot of people is because you live uneventful lives in real life, and because you don't see shit, because you don't witness shit, because you don't experience shit, social media is everything that you actually experience, because in your real life, you have a boring life and don't see shit. But go ahead, Sam. I had to go off for a moment.
No, it's true. It's the same thing over and over again. It's the same, back in the day, ladies used to be in VIP, thought they were the shit, right? They be standing there in VIP and, feeling a certain way. You're like, yo, I don't feel no way about you being in VIP, right? Nothing about that. I need to, hey, we need to get that on the shirt. My presence is fine as fuck. But I will tell you this. Razzcast, he has this one song that, and there's a verse in the song is, I'm just trying to find somebody to understand my story. I don't want them all. You don't really want them all. You're just trying to find somebody to understand whatever your story is that day. That has nothing to do with social media. And let's think about this. Like, we see something on social media and we equate it to all, right? Now, I don't know if anybody watches porn or don't watches porn, but since my whole existence, think about the hundreds, thousands of porn stars. Like, bro, are you guys walking around in the street?
They took away Pornhub from Texas, bro. If you live in Texas, you cannot access Pornhub. I'm very upset, bro. They, bro. I had some Pornhub vids saved to my faves. They fucked up my favorites. I'm hot. Go ahead.
But my thing is, you don't be walking around this earth like, oh, I'm afraid. I wonder if that girl sitting at Starbucks is a porn star, right? Like, you don't be just walking around meeting regular people, wondering, did they happen to dabble in porn? Even though there's millions of porn stars, right? Like, you don't really wonder. So why are you wondering about social media in the same way? Because social media and the girls can make a whole bunch of money, has it messed up the game? Like, no, it ain't messed up the game. Not one bit. It ain't. Are you mad that it's a hard time for you to get that one? Are you really looking for somebody for your story, or are you just looking for somebody, on social media, say I grabbed her from social media? See, and that's the thing. Like, when you do things for you and not this society, you have a whole different outlook. That's crazy though, Zach. That's crazy, man.
Man, look, I was on Facebook. I think it was yesterday, the day before, and I heard people talking about it. But I hadn't been watching porn, so I didn't think nothing of it. And then I went to my favorites, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, wait a minute, this shit is real. Goddamn Pornhub, man. Motherfuckers.
Hey, I just sent you a little link to a little something that might be one you could go to. I don't know about Texas or anything like that.
Oh shit! All right, hold on.
You know,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I'll check it out later and shit. But it's okay. I mean, you know, X videos and X hamsters still alive and well and shit.
Oh yeah. So now,
hey,
I like to get kind of like me. Yeah. I ain't gonna. Yeah. I'm outlandrous. I'm outlandrous individually on my own. So you know, it's.
Look, let me tell y'all something. And I would recommend for some of you guys, you know what I'm saying, if it's not beyond your morals and shit, hey, sometimes watching porn with women, oh my God, bro.
Oh yeah, that's the way to.
I remember the very first time I watched porn with some chicks. I was in middle school. I think I was 13, 14 years old.
We don't want to hear about your middle school story though.
And
your underage middle school story.
Oh yeah. YouTube. Yeah. Scratch that.
We don't want to hear about this underage.
That's great.
But it's part of that progression. Like, you know, my whole life, hey, don't bring sand to the beach. Don't bring sand to the beach. And then one day you bring sand to the beach and you're like, yo, this is funny. I brought sand to the beach and I got more sand. Right? Like you get that point where some of the things that people's like, don't do, you know, oh, it's going to have this bad effect that you do. And you're like, yo, it's actually just the opposite. When I bring sand to the beach, I get more sand. Like, what's up with that? Like, so, you know, yeah, it's one of those progression things that people go through. And next thing you know, you're like, hey, you like this? Me too. Ain't that a coinkadink?
So. We got another one right here. All right. So the Goon says, what is the time balance between gaining information online compared to going out and putting your bid in and being on a game? The question is kind of weird, but this is what I will say. Regardless of the information you're getting from this podcast, the Real Game No Theory podcast, or any other content you watch, you still have to go out there and do your thing, right? You're really gonna learn by doing. It's kind of like you can watch a video on how to fucking install a fucking faucet, right? But you're not really gonna learn how to do it until you do it. You gotta do it. You gotta go out there, because here's the thing: when you deal with women, there are so many nuances and intricacies and subtleties and complexities. There's so many different things to different interactions that not everything you hear on the internet is gonna prepare you for. So you have to go out there and actually experience those things so you can see how those things impact your way of thinking and how things impact your narratives and your ideologies, right? Because a lot of times you may have a certain way that you believe things, but then your experience with women reshape how you believe things. And it shouldn't reshape it in a negative fashion. It should reshape it because your eyes have been open to reality now. And all those illusions you had and all those things you were conditioned to believe were all bullshit to begin with. Go ahead, Jay Roman, you got it.
No, I agree, man. I think it's just it's why you cooking, right? Like, you may make the same dish, but then you learn, like, somebody puts a different ingredient in that dish. And so now you put it in your dish and it just made it better. You know, some people haven't even began to cook, but if you're cooking already and you look at a video, you see something, add it to your repertoire. If it, you know, add it to whatever you're doing. The thing is, you got to be doing and being out there in the first place. And the thing is that, you know, it's moments and moments and moments 1,000 times over, 1,000 times over that gets you hyped in any situation. And I always like to ask people something like, how's that working for you? Mm-hmm. Right? You know, when it comes to good habits or bad habits, how's it working for you? Like, if something's working well, then why would you throw it away? If something's not, because it matches your personality. Yep. Some people will look at something on YouTube and be like, oh, I shouldn't be doing that, but it really works well. Well, yeah, it works well for you, but know the motivation on why you're doing it. That's the main thing, right? To know why you're doing something and make sure you do it for yourself. But at the same time, if something is working for you, then is there really a complaint that you got here, right? And if there is a complaint, maybe it's not working as well as you thought. And working well doesn't just mean results. It means how you feel about why you're doing it, right? So, like some guys are straight up suckers, but they still get it. But they straight up suckers, but they still get it. And they try to justify their suckerness by what they're getting, and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, they know they don't feel well because they know they're giving too much. At some point, you're going to give too much and be like, man, why am I doing this? Well, you've been practicing your suckerness. So my thing is, don't practice your suckerness, practice some real stuff, and then go from there. Like keep moving, keep grooving, And I'm gonna tell you right now, I guarantee everybody that's on these things, they done got at a woman that shot them down, But now, how do you feel about it? What's your motivation for it? Where do you go from there? Like,
well, you shouldn't feel no way about a woman saying no. It shouldn't literally impact you at all. It shouldn't impact your mood at all. Let me say this real quick. Boxing Plug Day with $2. Coach back to watching Bootyzilla DVDs. Yo, I got the Blu-ray disc player out right there. I'm about to hit the stores. I do got some DVDs. I got the Blu-ray joint right there. But let me stop.
I used to send them to the where you had a store.
But you can rent them shits. You used to be able to rent them joints back.
No, they had the the videos, the toys, everything, and I would send them and be like, hey, on your way to my house, I need you to stop by this store, pick up a movie for me. I like this video store. So I give them the address. They pull up and be like, yo, this is. I say, oh yeah. Pick something out. It go from there. So it's fun to interact with the opposite when doing these things. I know it's taboo. Everybody get ashamed about it, but if the person I'm interacting with is ashamed about it, then it ain't really one for me because I'm too live with it. So you don't fit me very well.
I have no filter. I don't know if y'all ever noticed that. I have zero filter. Like I just say what the fuck is on my mind. Let me say this real quick because I want to go back to what the dude said about actually going out there and implementing things.
Yeah.
I hear guys talk about all the time, oh, you can't say this to women, you can't say that to women, oh, you just can't let women know you want to fuck them, you can't bring up sex. And my thing is bullshit. Bullshit. How do you think one night stands happen? See, this is what guys got to remember. I want guys to really, really think about this. The average guy, when he calls himself giving advice as it relates to relationships, women, sex, the whole dating dynamic, a lot of guys are relegated to only being able to give advice on their own personal experiences. So imagine this. If you have limited personal experiences dealing with women, that means the rest of your commentary is about shit that you heard. That you heard. But usually the shit that you heard, and if you're facilitating the shit that you heard, right, if it's your commentary or within your content, it's usually shit that you can relate to based on your limited experience. So because I've had a lot of sex with chicks that I met, like I just met her today. I just met her this morning. Okay, I just met her 10, 15 minutes ago and we fucking. Because I have a lot of experience doing that, I know for a fact that women love sex. I know for a fact that you most definitely can talk about sex right away with women, right, that you just met. The problem with a lot of guys is they're not used to running into women that view them sexually. So they're not used to actually experiencing what it feels like to have a conversation with a woman who is sexually attracted to you and she ain't hiding it, right? She ain't hiding it. She's making it clear if you want it, you can have it, right? So once you experience that enough times, you will understand that a lot of this shit that you hear on the internet is bullshit, okay? To you is bullshit. To the guys that's spewing it is real shit to them because they haven't had your same experiences. But this is where we come in and say, them dudes don't know what they're talking about. And they can only speak on what they know. It doesn't mean that they're wrong. It's just that the knowledge they possess is limited because their experiences are limited. But Jay Roman, you got it. I think we have some more questions. Let me get to it.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's get another question. Shoot, when I was thinking about what you just said, like there's probably some dudes, she'd be like, yeah, I'm with it. They probably get stunned. No, I'd have been right now. I mean, later on.
Yeah, bro, there was times where I wasn't even trying to smash, and the chick was she put it on the platter.
Any
I
advice?
wasn't even trying to smash. I'm like, you can have it.
All right.
So Isaiah Parker says, any advice for determining our standards, and then any habits we should work on to stay consistent with maintaining your standards are your standards. They're unique to you. Now, some of us have similar standards. You know, Jay Roman, you know, he's married. I'm no longer married, but I still have the mentality of knowing how to run a household. So we might have some similarities, and we both fathers. There may be some similarities, but he's uniquely different. He's a completely different man than I am. So his standards are unique to him, and they're based on his personality. So as a man, you have to decide what works for you. You know, I can sit here and tell you what works for me, but I'm telling you based on my own unique personality. Right? Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I say, and you're right about that. Everybody has to have their set of standards. And I like to kind of give examples to really put it on the line. For me, talk doesn't really matter to me, right? So if I was in a situation and somebody was, you know, running their mouth, it's not gonna get me off, right? It's not gonna have me like, oh, you know, no, man, get that. But if you touch me, then that's where my issue is at. So you could damn near call me anything if you mad. Give me motherfucker. All right, bro. You know, I'm out. You know, like I'm not even gonna be involved in this. But when you lay your hands on me, that's it. I've seen some guys that even calling them certain names or words, it's on. It's on. Like that's their standard. That's just, hey, if somebody come at me wrong in any way, that's how they go. Me, that's not me. I'm like, hey, all right. Now, if you put your hand on me, I don't care if it's a finger. If I feel that, then it's on for me, because now we go into a whole nother zone. It's a whole nother disrespect level for me, where you think you could just touch somebody.
See, Jay Roman, I used to be that way, where words you could get me to fight you with words. I used to be that way.
I done fought off a lot of.
I was triggered. You know what I'm saying? I was like, even the word nigger, white person or a non-black person come in, you gonna get these hands. Now, because I'm a little more mature, and I'm not gonna let you trick me out of my freedom. Words, you can't, bro. It's to the point where one time this dude called me a nigger, and I'm like, nigger, is that all you got? Like, bro, I'm like, and that's what I told him. I'm like, what about Porsche Monkey? What about Spirit Chucker? And I'm like, you ain't got nothing else for me? Like, words don't. Out of
all these years, this is the worst you could do. Huh?
Words don't do nothing. Like, I'm not fighting you over no words, man. Like, it ain't happening. Now, I will say this though. If you come in my personal space, like if I can reach out my hands and do a 360 and touch you, you're too close.
Yeah.
If you come into my personal space aggressively,
you just touched me.
Yeah,
that's touching. Like,
well, I'm not even waiting for that. But if you come into my physical space aggressively, it's on and popping there.
That's in my touching zone. Like that's like you come in, so that's something different. And the only reason I say that is not for everybody to puff up their chest and be like, oh, I will whoop somebody's. It's just the fact that there's some people that go at not even them saying the word bitch or something like that, but saying something that made them feel like that. Oh man, that's almost like you calling me a bitch. And I see people fight off of that. And I'm not saying they shouldn't have fought or they should have. They had to do what they had to do to their standard. But for me, it's just a little bit different. Everybody's going to have different standards, but the main thing is consistency.
Your consistency is
There's something that I say to myself, I got it written down, where you don't have to do everything. Just do what you said you were going to do today. So whatever you said you were going to do that day and the next day, just take care of that. The more and more you keep taking care of that, the more and more you will feel uneasy just to sit without things accomplished. Like there's times I sit down.
Be a man of your word. Stick to what you say.
Yeah, I sit down and be like,
be dependable and reliable. Your word should mean something to people.
Yep, exactly. So it should mean something more to yourself than it does to anybody
exactly.
else. So, you know, just do those things, be consistent with that, and then you go from there. And to work on it, yeah, it's nobody else can work on it for you but you. So just say, get up and do it, man. Hey, I got to do this. Let me get up and do it. Another thing is, don't have nothing distract you. And that's where being a man is at, right? Because you'll find distractions for yourself, or you'll have other people distract you, like your boy call you and be like, hey, man, I need to do this. Can you come do this? Well, you know you didn't get what you wanted to get done yet. You're going to have to be like, nah, man, let me get my stuff done first before I go your way. Sticking to that stuff for you is going to help you be more consistent, not having anything distract you from whatever you got planned.
William. I'm not fighting over words simply because, you know, someone can say something about your mother or even your kids, and that might make you want to slap them. But all they got to do is go get someone, you know what I'm saying, in law enforcement, and you getting arrested. Okay, you can't tell the police officer, man, he said something about my dead mother. Now the police officer might whisper to you, dog, I would have hit him too. But he gonna tell you, but you broke the law, man. I gotta take you to jail.
Yeah. I would have done the same thing.
Yeah. There are police officers who might agree with what you did, but you broke the law. They got to take you to jail. And now here you are, you in jail, and especially if you injure them, bodily injury, you break their nose or something. Now they can sue you. So now not only is it costing you your freedom temporarily, but it's gonna cost you some money.
Yeah, it's always gonna. Well, at least you know the way I fought, it's gonna cost us some money because I'm not fighting unless I'm trying to break something. So it's definitely costing me some money.
Yeah, I'm not fighting. I used to be that dude that would, bro. I was so bad that if a dude was talking shit to me in front of a police officer, I would find a way to slap him so the police officer didn't see. Bro, that's how fucked up I was. Like I had anger issues. Like I had real anger issues. You know what I'm saying? And I had to get that shit under wraps because I feel like, man, this shit is gonna cost me my life, or it's gonna cost me my freedom, or I'm gonna put my own family in a harm's way if I don't get this shit under wraps.
Now, I had to take a class. I don't know if you remember that back in the day. You seen to that anger management class in school.
Yeah, I took anger management.
Which was really funny because I don't know what that class was for. It had a whole bunch of anger management people in the class together. So, and then man, I got beat down by my dad once, man. Somebody sued because I broke this dude's arm.
Yeah.
And their family sued my family because I was a minor, and it really cost my family some money.
Damn.
And my pops wasn't, he wasn't too happy about that. So, he got to. I remember that one, and so you start to realize stuff costs, like decisions you make.
Your anger issues can cost.
Really cost and stuff like that. So, but that's the thing, though. At some point, you got to think about yourself and change yourself for the better for you and nobody else. And that's the real thing about it. Like getting to a point where you see the person you want to be and the steps to go there. When that becomes more important than anything else, then it's easier for you to be consistent on that. And that's why you got to put yourself in that high regards. What did Miles say? You a god, like
you're a god here on earth.
On earth,
you are a god here on earth. Let me say this real quick, and let me just for full disclosure, I got arrested for fighting. I got arrested for assault with bodily injury for fighting in the nightclub, and I did it right in front of police officers. They were trying to grab me, and I broke free. That's how dumb I was.
Yeah,
there in front of fucking Bear County sheriffs. I'm throwing down in front of the motherfuckers, dog. And then they haul my ass off to jail and shit because I allowed my anger to get the best of me. And I'm gonna tell you what happened. I'm walking in the club. A dude spilled his drink on me, right?
Yeah.
I'm not even, bro. And I'm wearing an all-white polo shirt, a Ralph Lauren polo shirt. He spilled his rum and coke. So my whole shirt is ruined with some brown shit. Now, I was trying to be cool. The dude got mad at me because his drink got spilled on me. He tried to tell me, you owe me a drink. I was like, I ain't buying your shit. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, no, you're going to buy me a drink or something going to happen to you. And I just slapped him. You know what I'm saying? Because he said that shit. So then the club security separated us, and he kept talking shit. So when they took us outside, the Bexar County, it was a female Bexar County sheriff. She grabbed me by my shirt, and she pulled me by the back, and I knocked her hand away, and I just brushed dude. That's how dumb I was, bro. So, and after that, after
they could have got you for assaulting the officer.
Well, I didn't. They almost got me with that. They did, but they was about to. They was about to. but so and that would have really caused me types of issues. And luckily, and I was young. I was in my early 20s. Luckily, all these years later, it hasn't impacted my ability to get a job, but it could have. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I can still pass background checks, FBI, fingerprinting. I can still get past all of that because it was so long ago. But my point is there are other guys that are not as fortunate. And let me just say this about that. If you have assault on your background, it has impacted guys' ability to even rent apartments and shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, luckily, again, it hasn't impacted mine, but there are some guys where it impacts you. So this is why, you know, you can't let, you know, your anger and your temper get the best of you, man.
You out there trying to get some 241 on you.
You said what?
You try to get a 241 on yourself, just out there. But
and plus, bro, I got people depending on me, bro.
Nah,
I can't fuck my shit up, man.
I'm gonna tell you, man. I was dealing with a married woman at the time. I did not know she was married at the time.
This nigga Jay breaking up happy homes. Go ahead.
No, I didn't know she was married at the time. I found out she was married, and so I moved on to her cousin. But she you know, she still wanted things to happen. And this is why, you know, you learn from all these examples, right? Mm-hmm. So the stuff we talk about ain't just stuff, you know, we're pulling out the air. Like, no, this stuff has talked, and I'm thank God that I have the grace and the knowledge to learn from them. Some people got same experiences but never really learned to put them on the path to become better, to say, you know what, this is how I should move. This is how I should move. This is me defining manhood. And so that guy says, how do you set your standards? Understand, set your standards on your definition and defining of your manhood, and going from there. Deep down, if you know something ain't right, then why do it? And I'm not going to judge, you know, what you feel is right is not right. But the thing is, you know what you feel is right and live upon that. So, you know, anyway, she showed up with a trench coat, dog. And so one more time, right? One more time. Left a little bit, maybe the next day. This big country white dude was at my door, knocking on the door. This was a sister I was dealing with. I didn't know her husband was this big country white dude. And, you know, he was looking for her and all this other stuff. And I was cool. Like, hey, man, she's not here. You know, in fact, I didn't even know she was married. You know, whatever this is done, whatever. But I'd never forget, he took his finger and pushed me in the chest. And I'm at my doorstep, right? And so that was go. And I hit this dude, but then he slipped and fell down the stairs.
Oh.
And see, and that's a point where the worriedness came too. And he really injured himself falling down the steps. And, you know, police came out and everything. But good thing he told the truth on what happened, because, you know, at that point in time, he could have just lied and said, you know, I came, knocked on the door, you know, he started attacking me and and he didn't. But you talk about worried, like I'm sitting there, you know, hands behind the back. He's sitting there. They got the ambulance there. They got the police there, you know, because my thing is, if he gets up, it's going to be on. So I had to go down there and, you know, give him a couple more. So, you know, no, I mean, you came to attack me, right?
No. I'm the same way. I feel like I'm not going to stop swinging until you stop moving.
Right. So, you know, but I really put myself in a bad position over what? Over something I didn't need to do. Life was too fresh. I wasn't desperate for nothing. You know, this is nothing but extra. Like this it was nothing. Like, so why would I even put myself in that position? And that's the type of stuff you got to learn and grow from. You don't sit there and continue to do the same negative behavior and then turn around and blame everybody else for it. You got to learn from your mistakes. You got to learn from the things you go through and go from there.
All right, cool. So we're about to do the last question. We're about to finish up.
All right.
So he says, I have current troubles of having anger with ignorance, but mostly with interrupting someone's turn to talk, to speak. Any tips on controlling my patience during confrontation? Well, you got to ask yourself this question. Is it worth it? Okay, whatever discussion or debate or whatever it is you're having with somebody, do you need to get your point across that bad? Okay, is it worth it? What can you possibly gain by having that discussion, having that debate, having that interaction? Is it worth it? Okay, if it's not worth it, you can walk away. Okay, even in a relationship, like even when I was married or in any other relationship I had with women, if we're having a discussion about something and it goes from being a spirited discussion to being a possible, heated discussion, what I would do is I would immediately stop and say, hey, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna stop talking. And we're gonna continue this shit, but we're gonna continue this once we've both calmed down a little bit. So there would be times, especially when I was when I was cohabitating with a woman, I would be like, look, I'm gonna go take off. I'll be back in about an hour. And I wouldn't necessarily say where I was going. I would just say, I'm about to take off. I'll be back in about an hour. So what I would do is I would go to maybe a pool hall or something and play a game of pool by myself. And I'd be gone for like an hour, right? And then I'll come back. And then I'll tell a young lady, hey, come here, come sit on the couch real quick. And I would tell her, hey, I don't want you to say nothing. Listen. And then I would tell her, if you value this relationship and you value my presence in your life, you're going to listen without interrupting me. And then I would get off the shit that I wanted to get off, but I would be mindful to be maybe more tactful than I was initially.
Right.
Okay, and that's leadership. It's understanding, yeah, I could just say it this way to her, but because she's super sensitive, right? Let me be a little more tactful. I'm still going to be stern. I'm still going to be assertive. I'm just going to be more tactful in my delivery so I won't trigger her. So that way she's more receptive to what I'm saying. Now the response that I'm getting from her, she's a little she's more contrite. She's not as combative because I had time to think. I had time to cool off and I had time to think and she had time to cool off. So now the interaction that we're having is way more respectful and where we're both listening. Instead of just hearing each other speak, we're actually actively listening to each other. So that's something to consider, but that comes from maturity and leadership though. But go ahead, man, you got it.
I like to tell people there's a difference between disagreements and confrontation, right? And then also, I'm a leader in all aspects. So I'm a leader even when we have disagreements, discussions. All right. We're not going to be yelling at each other. We're not going to be raising our voice. We're not going to do none of that. If so, we can't have this conversation. We can't have the discussion. And then that's basically it. I will stop it and do like you. I got to go. We're not going to be sitting here yelling at each other. And if we can't talk to each other. Now, what I will say to this, the art of having a conversation is a beautiful thing. Are you listening to what the person is saying to actually take in what they're listening, or are you just letting them talk so you can just go to your next point? A lot of times it's hard for us to listen and really take in what somebody's saying because now we're upset and we're just trying to get our point across on what they need to learn. You also can get some good information, and I'm not saying good information that's something you need to do because, half the time it's gibberish, but either way, if you listen, you can see where the person is coming from. And a lot of times it's the perspective. See, everybody's perspective is different. And like you said earlier, two things could be right Like two things could be right. Like you could have did this and she could have did this too. Two things can be right at the same time. People's perception of reality makes their reality. People's perceptions make their reality. So to argue somebody's perception of something it's hard for them to really change that perception because that's what they saw, just like what you saw. Like I can go, hey, the way you said that, I'm letting you know right now, ain't cool. And they could be like, well, I was just joking. Right. And so now you like arguing the fact that what they said wasn't no joke. And they're arguing the fact that what they said was a joke. Those are two opposite ends. And that's an argument that, so my thing is, I don't care if it was a joke or not. Right. Okay. It was a joke. Cool. I don't like that you said it now. So how about we don't say that? Maybe you can't joke with me like that because that's me. Right. So learn what it is and then go from there. And I think when you set the tone on how you guys are going to talk to each other, that's the thing. If you don't like listening to her or whoever you're with, whoever you're having this conversation with, they ain't going to like listening to you either.
Well, I think a lot of people, they talk to prove a point, right? They try to browbeat other people with their opinions. And what happens is a lot of times when people say shit, instead of you taking it as they said it, because you're too into your feelings, you begin to try and interpret what they're saying. Right. And in your interpretation of what they're saying, you're misconstruing what they said. So an example, I'll never forget this. When my ex-wife and I were going through our divorce, and she said to me, were you ever in love with me? Now, bear in mind, she filed for the divorce, but yet she's questioning whether or not I ever loved her. And I'm looking at her like, that's weird as fuck. Right. But anyway, so she said, were you ever in love with me? And I said, no, I was never in love with you. Men don't fall in love. And she just started crying. And I said, hold on. I said, chill. I said, I've always loved you. I've always had love for you. I love you now. Right. You know, and we can't be together. It's cool. Because I granted her the divorce. I said, we can't be together. I'm not trying to keep you. You know what I'm saying? You're free to leave. I'm not trying to keep you. And that's another reason why she said, were you ever in love with me? Because I didn't fight her on the divorce. I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it. Right? She was like, what? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, let's go ahead and do it then. If that's what you want, I'll grant you the divorce. So in her mind, when I said, no, I was never in love with you, but I love you. The words. See, when you tell someone I'm in love with you, that sounds better than I love you. So the fact that I said, no, I love you, the fact that I said I was never in love with you, she couldn't get past those words because of her interpretation of what she felt it meant, right? So a lot of times when people say things, that they don't seek to listen, they seek to feel. They want to feel something by what you said. So when I said, no, I was never in love with you. What you talking about? She wanted to feel something. She wanted to hear me say, yeah, I was in love with you. See, if I would have said I was in love with you, she might have been like, I don't want a divorce. Let's who knows? You know?
Hey, I'm with you, man. I don't play no breakups to makeups.
Yeah.
That ain't my thing. If because I'm a real big person. Like, if you don't want to be here, then don't be here. Like, if love don't live here no more, then it don't live here no more. Like, you can roll. My thing is like, my biggest thing is that if we're together or not together, respect me because I'll respect you. And the thing is, I'm gonna respect this situation by me continuing to be the man that I am. So if I say that I'm gonna do something or say that this is what it's gonna be, word is bond, that's what it's gonna be. Like, so, you know, for me, it's crying, dog. When people start crying, it takes all emotions out of me. It takes everything out. I never forget my grandfather said to me one day, when a woman starts to cry, it's because there's really nothing else to say. That's her last point. That's her last thing she's trying to work. And the thing is,
tears have no impact. I just give a fuck about no tears, bro.
It just kind of numbs me. Be like, oh, and I get away from like, hey, whatever. Like, stop crying.
Hey, look, tears, bro.
Stop crying.
I'm sorry, bro. Tears. when a woman start crying, I just look at her and shrug my shoulders like,
what's wrong with you?
What the fuck you want me to do with that? You know what I'm saying? The fuck you want me? Is that supposed to change my mind and shit? Like Biggie said, tears don't affect me. I don't give a fuck about no goddamn. My son, my 4-year-old.
Yeah.
A little while ago, he was like, he started to do this like he was about to cry. I said, man, get up. Bro, 5 seconds later, he watching TV. Not a tear in sight. You know what I'm saying? Man, that shit don't impact me.
All my
obviously,
kids know.
he did that shit with somebody and it worked. Like, I don't give a fuck about no goddamn tears. So let me say this real quick. Let me say this. Yeah, go ahead.
Just to bring it back to the gentlemen, to the guys. It's not saying be cold-hearted. It's just that we have a different role. We have a different role for your manhood, and that manhood can't be interrupted by tears, by crying, by feelings, emotions, all this other stuff, because you have a certain job to do. Yeah. Because you took that job on. So you should look at it as a certain seriousness for yourself. Because if you said, hey, I'm gonna be a leader of this household, and then you turn around and you're adapting to every little thing, well, you're not leading anything. So, for people to be like, oh man, people just want to be cold, and nah. You got to understand the role that you was put in and what you need to do. And that's the thing, that consistency, working on yourself, this anger that you're gonna fix and all this other stuff. It ain't for nobody else. It's for you to maintain whatever role you decide that you want to be in.
You know what? This is when I know when a woman's tears are for real. When she doesn't cry in front of me, but I can hear her weeping. Let's say, I said some shit to her and I go upstairs, and 30 minutes later, I go downstairs, because normally I would live in a house where the master bedroom is downstairs. And let's say I open the door and she's in the bathroom with the door closed and I can hear her weeping. I know it's real. I know she's really hurt because she didn't try and do it in front of me. She made a concerted effort to close all the doors so she can go weep in private, right? That's when I know it's real. But even then, I don't allow a woman's emotions to get me off my square. I can acknowledge it if it's real and I know I did something and I've had some time to reflect and I know maybe I wasn't tactful in a moment where I should have been more tactful, and I know maybe I said something and she's really hurt. I can reflect on it, come back and think about it, snatch her up and sit her down and be like, when XYZ happened, I didn't acknowledge how you felt. And I was wrong. I sincerely apologize for that. I can apologize when I'm wrong. I ain't got no problem doing that. I'm not wrong often though. You know what I'm saying? So you might not.
Well, that's the thing. You gotta set the example. You got to set the example and everything. And I've always said this, in a big old group, and people are like, what? I'd be like, man, this is the most scrutinized position in the household. Like, there's no position more scrutinized than head of household. There's no position more scrutinized than manhood. Are you making the right decisions? Are you leading souls the right direction? Or are you making decisions for the future and not only today? Like, there's so much involved with having a household and raising children and a wife and all that other stuff. It ain't for the weak. Like, this game ain't for the weak.
And the weight of the world is on my shoulders, bro.
And the thing about this game helps you out with all that. So my thing is, me coming back and apologizing, saying, hey, my bad. That ain't nothing to me. That ain't nothing. Hey, what'd you say? Oh, it's my fault? All right, cool. Let me think about it. Okay, yeah, I thought about it. Yeah, you kind of right. All right, cool. Because I got to think about it. It ain't just because you said it. Let me think about it. So I
gotta reflect. I gotta let it cycle through my mind for a moment.
Now, crying ain't for me though. That's for you healing. That's your healing process. That's not for me. So I don't think it's ever real. I don't think it's ever real for me. I think it's for you. Yeah. Because it has nothing to do with me. If I said something, that's for your process. Because either way, you're gonna have to come back to me and say, you know what you said was kind of fucked up. This is how it made me look at it. This is how it made me feel. I'll think about that and be like, well, whoop. Because my thing is, I always said this. If we're in this together, if that I'm leading us in a certain direction. It is never my intention or goal to hurt you in any manner, because you're under my protection all the way through, mentally, physically, that whole thing, right? So if I say something and you can take it two ways, why are you taking it in the way to hurt you? Because you know that's not the way I meant it. So, my thing is, if you know I said something, then how about you take it in the manner in which it was stated to help us out and to move from there,
Let me say this, and I want guys to think about something. And I want to get back to, like, a lot of times when women tell you that they want a divorce, or even when they serve you with divorce papers and don't tell you shit, or a lot of times when they talk about breaking up, a lot of times it's their last ditch effort, and it's really an ultimatum. And what they're trying to do is light a fire up under you, and they're trying to get you to do something. But I want guys to understand something. If I feel like I'm solid, I'm thorough, if I feel like how I'm moving is on an up and up, I'm not changing shit.
It's nice you hear, but I could.
Yeah, I'm not changing nothing. Like, so sometimes a woman they'll use that as a scare tactic to get you to quote unquote act right. Yeah. And my thing is, nah, it ain't gonna work. Let's go ahead and just break up, or let's go ahead and just get a divorce. Fuck it. Because my thing is, I'm not, because once now if you're mistreating, look, let me just say this: there's a difference between mistreating your woman versus your woman wanting you to do something that you typically don't do.
Right.
But now she's trying to use this as her last ditch effort to get you to do it. In that scenario, you'd be like, nah, we ain't meant to be together. Let's go ahead and go through with the breakup or the divorce or whatever it is, because I'm not compromising myself to keep you. If I gotta compromise myself or my standards, you're not gonna respect me anyway.
Well, you can. Yeah. You can never hold me hostage about being by myself.
Exactly.
That's a great time. Just like being here is a great time, but being by myself is a great time.
Don't threaten me with a great time.
Right?
Don't
So,
me with a great time.
like, you can't hold me hostage by saying, "Hey, I'm gonna leave." Like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'll rebuild. Don't worry. Like, I believe in myself to the point that I can rebuild. I done been in some dire situations, right? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, shout out to the homie Steve the Dean. Get the likes up.
Yeah. I done been in some dire situations. I done been homeless. I done slept in my car. I done done a whole bunch of different stuff where I can survive from. Do you think I can't survive from this? Do you think that my confidence level is so low that this is going to make me feel a certain way? Nah, it's not. It's not. Because I know
I'm always good. As long as I got me, I'm good.
Yeah,
as long as I got me, I'm good.
I know what I'm working towards, and I know that hey, maybe it just didn't work out. All right, cool.
Well, see, Jerome, I look at it like this: no woman can love me more than I love myself. No woman can value more than I value myself. No woman can respect me more than I respect myself. So, if a woman is leaving my life, what did I lose exactly? What did I lose? Well, so is she taking her love with her? Love still exists in my life because I love myself. But is she taking sex away? I still got two hands. What is she taking away?
Yeah.
that I can't, you know what I'm saying, that I don't have for myself. She can't take nothing. What is she gonna take away the fact that she cooked for a nigga? I can cook.
Yeah. Hey, half the time, like I done been from I done 4-bedroom house. I done beautiful house. Back down to an apartment. I'd have been there. Like
I've been there too. I've been
all right.
I had a 5-bedroom house. Yeah. I've been there.
Is this where we're at? I had to have a pool table room, workout room, the living room, dining room, family room, 4-bed, nice spot. Hey,
bro, I didn't went from do. I didn't went from 3,300 square feet to 400 square feet.
Yeah, this is what we gotta do.
It's an adjustment, but I didn't did it.
But in no area was fear or doubt of myself.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. A lot of you guys, and this is where I love this point that Miles makes when he says be appreciative of the things you got. A lot of you guys got a lot of stuff that you don't appreciate because you're so hung up on what you can't have that it doesn't make your days feel good. Well, the main thing you got is yourself. Like if you can't see you accomplishing, moving, and winning things on your own, that's a very sad outlook you got of yourself, period. So
Jay Roman, let's go ahead and wrap this up. But go ahead and finish your point. We'll get to this question, and I got to get rid of the bounce now.
All right, let's do that. I got some stuff I can get to.
All right, so Chris the Player says, how do you know when a girl's tears are real and when they cry to manipulate? This, I'm gonna say this. I don't concern myself with whether or not they're real or not. Okay, I don't concern myself with that. Okay, and this is what I mean by that. And Jay Roman, you alluded to it earlier. If I'm trying to make a point to the woman I'm talking to, and it happens to hurt her feelings and she's really crying, my intent wasn't to be malicious. My intent wasn't to hurt her. So even if the tears are real, I still had to say what I had to say. Okay, so her tears are irrelevant to the fact that I still needed to say that to you. I still needed to do this. See, you guys, you can't concern yourself with whether or not your woman's feelings are hurt. Don't concern yourself with that. If you have to convey a message to your woman and it needs to be conveyed, you got to convey it. Like, even if you're kids, I say shit to my kids and they cry. You know what I'm saying? Like real tears. But I'm not doing it to hurt them. I'm doing it because they need to listen to what the fuck I have to say. And if they're crying, I'm not going to grab them and coddle them. It's okay. I'm like, all right. I'm like, hey, dry your tears. Dry your tears. Go to your room or dry your tears and go do whatever. The fact that they're crying doesn't change the fact that what needed to be said had to be said. It is what it is.
I tell them I don't want to see that. Go upstairs. Like, go somewhere, handle that. My thing is, doesn't matter if they're real or not, because communication still needs to happen. So she has to come back and express herself either way. So once she has her moment with her tears, you got to come back and you got to express, and we got to talk about whatever we was talking about, because tears aren't communication for me.
No,
like,
exactly.
You're not explaining anything through a tear. So you got to come back and say, hey, this is what's up. I could take that. Like I'm built a certain way, and I built like people around me just say the real on the mind. You could come to people like, hey, I hate your guts. All right, bro, cool. I ain't meant to like everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter to me. So, that's the thing for me.
Look, I'm the type, if my kids are sitting at the table crying and I see teardrops on the table, I'll be like, yo, don't cry on my table. Clean that shit up. and if they're crying the crocodile tears and they hit the floor, I'll be like, go get a mop. Don't cry on my floor. So I like, hey, you can do all the crying you want. You know what I'm saying? But go somewhere else with that shit. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. You got it.
No, there's one question. What if a woman is pressing you to do something you can't do?
Oh, you saw it? Where's that at?
I think it's why. Yeah. Is that the last question there?
Okay, well, so what do you need to elaborate, because a woman can't press me for nothing. She can't, bro. Once I say no to something, my word is law. If I say no, it's no. You can't. A woman, bro. Any woman I've ever been in a relationship with, she can't keep coming to me about the same thing when I say no. Boy, go get up and go over there. Go over there with that. You messing with the audio.
What's crazy?
Hey, get up and move around.
What's crazy if you told Cass, hey, every time you say no, they pussy get wet. You know how many no's will be flying out? No. Like, the thing is, if it's something that you really can't do, then you can't do it. And you sit it down, you have that conversation. If she don't understand that, then maybe you got the wrong one there.
You most definitely got the wrong one.
My thing is, get on the phone, tell her to call her mom or her uncle or wherever, and tell her to say, you about to leave the best man you ever had in your life because you don't want to accept this no. Because I am the best man you ever had in your life.
Yeah.
I'm the best one that you had in your life right here. So go ahead and say you about to leave this.
I always believe I'm the best choice.
Because you can't accept this.
How much money that nigga got over there? I'm the best choice for
him. Yeah. So, and that's that. So, but nah. If nobody can make you do anything you don't want to do. You make the decisions you make.
Well,
Even the cats that sitting there swear they're stuck in relationships. This woman ain't no woman forcing you to stay in that relationship. It's your decisions that's making you stay in that relationship because
exactly. Well,
you don't want to do nothing else.
Well, a lot of people have unhealthy attachments. You know what I'm saying? And it's not necessarily that they have unhealthy attachments to people. They have unhealthy attachments to the desire to not want to be alone. And just because that person is still willing to be there, they'll stay in that situation. So as long as that person still wants to be there, although the situation is unhealthy. And both men and women are guilty of that. So when I hear people talk about healing, my thing is, you don't need to heal from the person you were with. You need to heal from yourself. Okay, you need to heal from the fact that you got self-esteem issues, you got confidence issues, you got insecurity issues, you have unhealthy attachments to relationships. You need to heal from yourself and your decision making. So he says, last question, we got to go, y'all. He says, I need to get a place of core. I need to get to a place of core strength to walk away from our home together for the divorce. It's hard to walk away, but it's needed. Let me tell you this. It's only hard to walk away because you're attached. I don't think it's hard to walk away. I don't think it's hard to walk away at all. What it is, y'all got to understand, divorces and breaking up, it's really just an inconvenience. If you really think about it, that's all they really are, especially when you cohabitate with people and you share bills together and all that. It's really an inconvenience. And a lot of people don't want to deal with the inconveniences of a breakup or a divorce. It's not really hard to walk away from a situation that you're unhappy from if you can be by yourself and be happy. It's easy to walk towards happiness. It's easy to walk away from unhappiness. You just got to change your mindset.
My thing is, like you said, he said divorce mentally, so it's a mental aspect. I heard this quote the other day where the worst enemy is your thoughts, but the best. I don't want to misquote it, so I'm gonna stop. But basically, your thoughts control everything. So if your thoughts control everything,
how you move is controlled by your subconscious thoughts.
You just got to understand once it's over, like that, people like to use that term. Once it's over, then it's no longer a we in this in our house together and all this other stuff. It's you guys are making moves. You don't have to be angry with each other. You ain't got to be upset with each other. It's almost like a demotion. Like, hey, we tried this thing and now we're back to just being cool. So, split up things the way you need to split it up and then go about your life. To me, it's the more easier you take that, it's a faster way to get back to where you want to be. Right. So if you say, hey, I like the house and I like having a relationship like this. Well, this one didn't work out. Figure why that one didn't work out. Do better steps on this next one and go from there. A lot of times, the best thing to do is figure out what you did as far as things you could do better on vetting that next person. Things that you can do better on being consistent with that next person. Things you can do better at with yourself as being a better man and then going from there. And that's it. And the thing is, you don't have to hold on anger from the person not wanting you.
No.
Like, why? Thing cracks me up. I was like, why do people hold on or fight for somebody that says, I don't want you?
Bro, I've never been mad at a woman.
And then if somebody said, I do want you, but we can't be together, that means you don't want me. So, it doesn't matter how you say it. You're not making moves to step toward me. So why would I make moves to step towards you? We out of here.
Bro, when my ex-wife filed for divorce, I was not mad at her. My thing is this. Sometimes people's time is up. You guys' situation has run its course. The thrill is gone. Once, and people need to remember this, whether you're casually dating a woman or you're in a long-term relationship, married, once the situation is no longer mutually beneficial and fun to enjoy for the both of you, it's okay to walk away and say it's run its course. Yeah. And you can wish them well. You don't got to be mad at them. It's okay. And shout out to Lucario. He says, even if I love her, even if I love everything about her, I'll drop her because the tone of her voice is getting louder. Look, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
A woman raising her voice at me is a no-go. A woman talking to me with an aggressive tone with curse words and vulgar words. I'm cutting all that shit off. Like, hey, lower your tone. When you speak to me, all them curse words, take them shit out your motherfucking vocabulary. Don't talk to me like that. Like, no, I don't play that shit.
Hey man,
not at all.
There's this cat I know. I ain't gonna say his name because he probably tell me go ahead and say his name, but I ain't gonna say it. My boy, man, he walked away from the wedding the day of the wedding. And you know how much you gotta have the day of the wedding. Like everything was planned out.
How much money y'all spent?
No money, everything spent. Your grown men all them flew up from in town and everything. And he said it just wasn't cool. He said he just wasn't cool. And I think a lot of people,
what happened? What made him walk away?
He didn't like the way things was rolling. He didn't like the way because she had a previous kid. He didn't like the way that he couldn't really, govern the kid the way he wanted to. He didn't like the way her discussion was growing and leading. There was a before marriage and after marriage sort of attitude about it. Like you can't, after marriage, you can't do this. Like, hold on, what you mean? Like marriage don't change nothing. If I'm this person, I'm this person.
Yeah, marriage don't change shit. I'm gonna do what I've been doing. What you mean?
Yeah, so it was one of those things where, he had to think about it, and he said, "Hey, I'm good." Now the homies, we understood. Like, hey, if this ain't it, this ain't it. So her daddy looking at you, her mom looking at you,
fuck them all.
All these people that came, 150 people sitting here, dog. If you want to roll, let's roll. And we rolled, and that was it. And to this day, he was like, man, that's one of the best decisions I made. And the thing is, a lot of us don't want to make that tough in the moment decisions. A lot of us are hiding from that vetting process, and we're making excuses. Oh, she only did this because she was really mad. Oh, she only said this because it was this. Really, it's your inconsistencies. If you're a man that can't map out where you at off of your steps, but you're blaming everybody else for your steps, you're not ready. You're not ready to understand and to move from there. So my thing is that you got to understand whatever happened on this one, be excited to go to the next one. Be excited. Like, oh man, I'm living in horror. Yeah, I'm ready for this next one.
All right. On that note,
yeah, let's get out of here.
And let me just say this in closing. Your happiness, gentlemen, is paramount. Your joy, your peace, your tranquility is paramount. So when Jay Roman is telling a story about his boy walking away, it was easy to walk away because he looked at his joy, his peace, his tranquility, his happiness. He's like, I ain't compromising that shit for no chick.
Nope.
Hit her with the deuces. It ain't hard to leave. It ain't hard to leave. The reason why it's hard for some of y'all to leave is because y'all want to keep the woman too bad. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm out too.
Trust me, you'll get a new one.
On that note, hey, for all y'all who super chatted, I appreciate y'all. All y'all who commented, asked questions, and for all y'all who just came through, period. You could have been doing anything else with your Saturday, but you was fucking with myself, the homie Jay Roman and Miles. We appreciate y'all. Tune in tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time for the Real Game No Theory podcast. We out this motherfucker. Peace.
Yeah.